Or shot fire, officer down, shot fire, officer down. Got a city officer down, shot fire.
223, be advised, we have a visual on enemy paratroopers in grid Papa uniforms.
Welcome to the Resilient Warrior Nation, a podcast dedicated to inspiring hope and healing for first responders, military veterans, and anyone facing PTSD and trauma.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Resilient Warrior Nation. I'm your host, Mike Morgan. Welcome to the podcast that was created for first responders and military veterans to give them hope and inspire them as they go through life's challenges. I bring on ordinary people as guests who have done extraordinary things with their lives. We will talk about the highs and, more importantly, the lows of their lives and how they got through them, how they heal with them, to show all of you guys that we collectively, because I've been through it myself, are just like you. There is nothing different, and we've healed. You guys can too. So please welcome me in joining my next guest, Aaron Suozzo. Aaron was born in New York and raised in New Jersey. This is going to be my first Yankee.
There we go.
We both have nice, thick New York accents, so be careful anyone with these things. He attended Monmouth University, where he played college football. After graduation, he played in the Arena Football League. Aaron then became a police officer at the city of Hayward, California PD, where he worked patrol, was a member of the gang unit, and was a SWAT operator. Aaron retired from the force in 2021 and has undergone healing with psychedelic therapies, specifically Ibogaine, in September of 2024. So guys, join me in welcoming Aaron to the podcast. It's great to have you on, brother.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. I know when we have a mutual friend that put me in contact with you, and as soon as the ability came on to get in here, I said, yeah, 100%.
That's awesome. I'll tell you, the biggest compliment I can receive is when someone like our mutual friend, who's a former Navy SEAL, thinks enough of me to recommend quality men like yourself to the podcast. There is nothing more really that can get me going than something like that. So, once I saw your bona fides, I was like, yeah, this is absolutely perfect. So again, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate everything you've done for this world and everything that's happening so far and everything you're going to be doing in the future, because like we spoke about offline, it's definitely something that this community that we are blessed, and I mean, sometimes we feel like we're not blessed to be in.
Yeah, cursed.
We're able to spread our knowledge, our hardships, our healing journeys, like we're going to speak on today, to our regular, everyday people, because that's what we are, man.
Exactly. That is all we are. We all put on a uniform, but first and foremost, we're human beings. Yep. And the funny part is, Aaron, if you would have told me 14 months ago that I've been doing this, I would have said you're out of your mind. It's amazing where the universe takes you. Oh, yeah. But you're always where you're supposed to be. So 100%. That's exactly how I feel. 100%. And I'm supposed to be here with you right now. So
that's it.
Absolutely. So please tell everyone where you're from, how your childhood was. Just give a little background.
All right, I'll give you the quick rundown. So name is Aaron Suozzo. I was born in New York. Part of it, my mom is from the U.S. Virgin Islands, so I actually lived in St. Thomas for a little bit. So that's
my partner was from St. Croix.
Okay,
my partner from Atlanta.
There you go.
Yeah.
Then moved back to New York, lived in Staten Island for a little bit, and then basically was raised and grew up in New Jersey. The last name is Italian. This is correct. I do have an Uncle Sal. I've got everybody involved with that.
Who doesn't have an Uncle Sal?
Exactly. Ironically, he was NYPD also.
Really?
Oh yeah, he was a good guy. He actually, more than he knows, he had a pretty big part in laying out some foundation for me becoming a cop. I used to listen to his stories. He used to come over the house all the time, dressed in his blues and everything. And, as a young kid, you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's some God status type stuff, So if you're eventually going to listen to this, know that you did have a good influence on me coming over and getting into the cop world. So,
that's great.
I moved from Staten Island, went to middle school and high school in Jersey, went to Old Bridge High School, lived over there right across the bridge. Did sports like every other kid out there, yep. Baseball, football, wrestling, soccer, everything we did. I got 4 younger brothers, so we were all athletic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So 5 total? Or?
5 total, yeah. Yeah, 5 total boys, yeah. And
woo!
All athletes, a lot of sheetrock missing in the house.
Yeah, I was going to say, man. What damage you got done to that house?
Yeah, there was a lot of damage. Fortunately, we had a militaristic mother, so she took care of stuff. I mean, my mom's like 5'5". It's funny because between me and my one brother was like 6'3".
Really?
Yeah, we've definitely done some damage there, but somehow she kept us in check. So
that's great.
Yeah, so then after I went to college at Monmouth University, played football over there. Was blessed to be able to play a little bit of arena ball, actually down in Florida. Played over in Daytona
Okay.
for a couple of years. Sustained an injury, actually outside of football. I was riding a motorcycle, broke my ankle. Had my first child right around that same time. I was like 22. And the world said,
world changed a little bit, huh?
You need to slow down.
Yeah,
So,
no doubt.
fast forward, I was moved back up to Jersey, and the cop journey came out when I applied to State Police, Jersey State Police, NYPD, Port Authority. Port Authority is my number one. I wanted to go Port Authority, but it's a gentleman's job. You know, you get work in New York and New Jersey.
Overtime, out the yin yang. For those not in the know, those guys kill it.
Yeah, exactly. Big money, especially up in Jersey, New York area. Things happened politically that didn't work out, but everything was working out. Like you said, we're always in the right place at the right time. I had a buddy who pointed me in the direction of San Jose, California, and told me about the amount of money they made, the schedule. I was like, okay, let's go do this. I've never been to California before in my life, and I was at that age. I was like, screw it, let's just go.
Yeah,
try
exactly.
it out.
Adventures. What kind of tours you guys do over there?
What's that?
What kind of tours as far as work?
So when I was in Hayward, so San Jose, I didn't end up going to San Jose. I didn't end up going to Hayward.
Right.
So we were 3 on, 4 off.
Nice.
Unless you're doing specialized units, then obviously you're like on all the time. And between overtime, nobody works 3 on, 4 off. So, but to have that schedule, I mean, nobody has that type of schedule.
Nassau County has that in on Long Island, our sister agency. I work for Suffolk County, and that's like the greatest schedule I've ever heard in my life.
Because you get a vacation every day. You know,
exactly.
And we have a lot of guys that lived out of state too, so it's easy for them.
Yeah.
Come and work you 3 days, stay with somebody, rent a room somewhere, and you're good. You move back
exactly.
out. You have to pay certain taxes and certain things.
Yep.
But yeah, so the long story, short story, that was I went out with San Jose. Some things had happened. I had some financial issues I had to deal with when, I was playing football. Thought I had all the money in the world. We talked about this offline a little bit. And spent more money than I had. So
goes out a lot quicker than it comes in, man.
Yeah.
It's an amazing concept.
Yeah, so I had to fix a couple things financially, got that done. Obviously, as part of the background check. I asked San Jose because I had to take like 3 or 4 trips, and I wasn't rolling in money then.
Yep.
And I asked them, I was like, is this going to be an issue? I've got documentation stating that everything's smooth here. My background is clean. You're not going to find anything. No, you're all good. Got to the last, the oral aspect of things. They said, when I come back, you should be getting a phone call with a job offer. Beautiful. I was working actually elevator construction for Otis at that time, so I was in the local one.
Yeah, nice little union gig.
Yeah, definitely was. I was blessed to get into that, and that's a whole nother story we'll talk about. So yeah, I'm actually literally working on an elevator. I was putting weights in, some counterweights in. I remember exactly where I was. I got the phone calls. You guys got to give me a second. Picked up. They were like, nah, we got to pull you out of the process. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
They're like, whoever the decision maker is stated that your financial history wasn't satisfactory. At that point, I went from professional to unprofessional. I was like,
I can imagine.
Are you guys fucking kidding me right now? I spent $umpteen flying out there, doing these tests, blah, blah, blah. And you guys told me that wasn't going to be an issue. I asked you that firsthand. Okay, Bob. I was like, all right, let's just cut the conversation here, whatever. Ironically, being in the right place at the right time, when I was out there the first time, I met a guy by the name of George Beatty, who was in charge of personnel at Hayward.
Okay.
He was from New York. So me being from Jersey and being from the automatic, we find ourselves wherever we're at. So we started talking a little shit to each other. That's how it started.
Shocker.
Yeah. And he said, you want to go on a ride along? I was like, you know what? The hell with it. I'll just go on a ride along, no harm, no foul here. Yeah. I honestly never met a San Jose cop. They didn't offer me any ride alongs at that point in time. Even I was out there for a week several times. I was like, whatever. As soon as we hit the ground running. And I was like, this is my speed.
Mm-hmm.
We were out there running code 3 out the gate. And I was like, you know what? If anything doesn't work out, I'll give you guys a call.
Yeah.
Things didn't work out. So as soon as I hung up the phone with San Jose, called George. I was like, George, here's the deal. Laid it all out. It's like, is this going to be a problem at all? The only thing you're going to have an issue with, and I have the documentation, is the financial background, but everything's smooth. Told me if that's it, we're good. Legit came out, did the written, because I had to redo the written for them, did everything I had to do with them, and in a couple weeks, had my offer letter.
Nice.
Now, the only other problem was now the academy was in August, I believe, and this was June. So as soon as I go to tell my foreman that, like, I'm going to be out of here soon, work's getting cut, and I'm going to be broke for 2 months. I'm not going to have any money to fly out to California. So old George is like, we got a little problem here. I was like, I need to figure out what I'm going to do here for the next 2 months. I was like, I don't know how this is going to work, but as soon as I tell the foreman, they're going to cut my work. He's like, give me a day or two. Let me talk to the chief. again, right place, right time. Chief was a cool lady out of San Jose, ironically, Miss Diane Stewart. And like, come train, do
Really?
admin job.
Put you on the payroll.
Put me on the payroll, go run the hills, which is, thank God she did that because I needed that. Go work out, get your shooting down, and we'll pay you for the next 2 months for the academy.
Who's better than you?
Full rip. I was like, all right, when can you get out here? I'll be out there next week.
Yeah, twist my arm.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so that's how I got to Hayward, man. Then I got to Hayward, went through the academy. Good time, met some good people there. The hills suck because obviously we don't have hills like that out in Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm running 5 miles. I was 260 pounds too when I went out there.
Not for long.
Oh, yeah, no, not at all. I immediately started cutting back that weight.
Yep.
But it was good. It was a good experience. Definitely met some good people.
Now, where's Hayward in relation? Give me like a landmark.
Bay
California.
Area, right outside
Okay.
of Oakland. So we're right outside of Oakland, California.
So tough area.
Yeah, very. So
Yeah,
you have
Oakland's insane.
San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose. We're in the middle of everything. Richmond, anything that's coming out of any of those cities is coming to us.
Gotcha.
So it's crossing our path
Yep.
at some point. Hayward, for drawing out a little bit of picture for you, it's a mixed population. So you've got your rich of the rich up in the hills. I mean, MC Hammer had a house up there. Latrell Sprewell had a house
Oh,
up there.
yeah.
And then when you get down south to Tennyson, you're going to run into some good stuff. You get over into the upper area of Hayward, you're going to run into some good stuff also.
Nice.
So it's a mix of everything. And we've got gangs. I've seen sicarios out there. I've seen some the wild stuff out
Really?
there. You get a lot of love out there. If you want to sit back and relax and watch Netflix, you can do that. But
Yep.
if you want to be high
hunt,
speed
it's
and
there.
hunt, it's there for
That's
sure.
awesome.
But yeah, it was great, man. It was definitely what I was made to do because I came out there and it's unfortunate the way the career started because literally as I got out there, so in June, I got out there and then one of our sergeants had got shot and killed, Sergeant Lunger, and he was one of the SWAT commanders too. He was like the top of the top.
Right.
That guy, we had this conversation too offline. Like,
Yeah.
when it's your time, sometimes there's nothing, it doesn't matter how trained up you are.
Yep.
You know,
I firmly believe that.
You're just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that's what it came down to. God bless everybody that was involved in that because there was a lot of people, obviously, that were hurt with that. And then
Oh, yeah.
that was like one of the first things that happened. And it was wild, and this is going to all roll into the whole journey that we're going to talk about at the end here. What was crazy when that happened was I was actually living in Union City, and this happened around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning when he had got shot and killed.
And he was on a car stop.
The car stopped.
He got
He
shot.
was
Okay.
rolling back to the station. Some fucking kid was doing donuts, and from what they said, he got lured in there. Like, dude lured him in
Really?
there for some gang initiation bullshit.
But that's if I may interrupt, that's the crazy thing about this job. I tell people all the time. It's why I loved it the most. You never know what's going to happen from second to second. Obviously, this is incredibly sad situation. But you make a left turn, life goes on. You make a right turn, the sergeant lost his life. I mean, you just don't know from 1 second to the next when it's going to pop off.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
You have no idea. And that's, like you said, man, it's everyday life with that. You eat
Yep.
lunch 1 second, and we'll talk about this, I'm sure, in the podcast, but just from what happens from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and then you got to tell everybody about your day. And it's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Like,
You're in it sometimes. You're like, holy shit, I can't believe it's fucking happening, man.
Exactly.
This is nuts.
Yeah, it gets wild. It gets extremely wild. But yeah, back to that whole what happened that night. So it was like at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I never had dreams. Like back then, I never slept. I was never fully in that REM sleep where I was like out.
Oh, no.
That night, for some reason, I was out. And I had this vivid dream. And I could, to this day, remember it. I'm watching it. I'm making a car stop. And I'm watching a cop get shot in the face.
Really?
Swear to God, on everything. I literally watched a cop get shot in the face, and I woke up to that. I was like, what the fuck was that just now?
That's nuts.
And
It's
then
like a mom having a premonition about a
Exactly.
kid.
It was something was connected at that point.
Yeah.
And I remember waking up, I was like, that was fucking wild. So then I'm clueless about what happened, obviously, that night, because I don't have any connections with radios or anything at that point. I still haven't even got to the academy. So I'm going to the PD to go do some admin stuff up there. And as I'm getting in there, like, I'm just walking around. I'm seeing news trucks out there. I was like, oh, something probably happened, whatever.
Yep.
Got a big police chase. Walk in. I'm Mr. like, hello, hey, everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning. And like, first guy, one of the lieutenants has got like this look on his face. In my head, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Then I get down the hallway and then there's like group people and fucking people crying. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on around here right now? Like somebody needs to pull me aside and tell me what's going on. And obviously they told me. And it sucked, man, because everybody used to tell me too, like, he was the guy. Like,
Really?
if you want to work with somebody, and especially like my mentality and my workflow, the way I was, he's like, that's the guy.
Yeah, he's the mentor.
He's going to be the guy that you want to do. And it just sucked that I only had like a brief interaction with Scott, but he was the man. Everybody said the same thing about him.
Yeah, it sucks. There's not that many superstars you run into in your career.
Even people in the streets, man. Like, and people don't get this. Everybody thinks it's just good guys versus bad guys in the streets. It's not like that, man. Like, there were some bad dudes out there that we deal with. They're like, bro, like, sorry about Sarge, man. Like, he was a good dude.
Yeah, it's amazing when you talk to him.
100%.
People don't understand that. They'll be bullshitting with you like you guys are friends.
Yeah.
In some respects, I mean, you're not friends, but you could have a friendly...
A respectful conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and the way I look at it, too, is like 99% of people in this world are good people. Dude, we do dumb shit. Like DUIs, those are dumb fucking things.
Yeah.
It's stupid shit people do, you know? There's 1% of people in this world that they deserve everything that
true evil.
Happen. Yes.
Exactly.
But, you know, I think that, like, just when I told people, like, younger cops, even my brother's a cop now, and Hayward, we actually work together.
Nice.
Dude, you just talk to people sometimes. Like, sit the people down. Like, that was the one thing I learned from some of the OGs that work. Like, bro, when you got somebody, like, a big name, big hitter, sit down, talk to this dude. Yeah. They'll talk to you.
Yeah.
They will literally have us. They're regular people.
Yep.
They want to talk. They want to tell you about their life, you know?
Yeah.
What's going
truth,
on.
Man.
And you'll learn so much that way. You can't read half of that stuff in books.
Nah, it's just pouring out of them, man.
Yep.
It's amazing.
And that's where you get a lot of your knowledge. Like what they call street knowledge, that's what you get.
Yep.
Talk to people. You'll figure things out so much faster getting it that way than anything you could read in a book, studied in an academy.
Exactly.
None of that stuff
And for you guys
applies.
still active, prostitutes are the greatest source of information ever. Oh my God. They will sit there. You treat them with respect.
Yes.
They will sit there and tell you everything about everyone.
Yeah, that or you find whoever you're looking for is ex-girlfriend or ex-wife or wife that cheated on. They'll tell you everything.
It's amazing, man. The streets know everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we used to get to a shooting scene. Everyone at that scene knows who did what, why it happened. It's amazing. No one's going to talk to the police at that point.
Nope.
But it's incredible to me how quickly everything goes through the streets. The streets talk, man.
The streets do talk.
Yeah.
They do, man. But
Just have to know how to listen.
yeah, so that's kind of how I got to Hayward. And I mean, it was just wild. Dude, I was in 3 OISs myself. I mean, we had...
That's officer-involved shootings?
Yeah, officer-involved shootings, yeah. First one was, I think it was 3 months out at Academy.
3 months?
Yeah, that was a wild one.
Can you go into that?
Oh, yeah, I'll brush over it real quick.
Yeah.
So it was, I was out in South Hayward, south of Tennyson, like I told you, where it happens. And it comes out, I was looking for somebody with a warrant down there, so I was kind of sitting in a cut. It was later in the afternoon. And comes out over the radio that a park ranger off of Tennyson and Panjon, for anybody who knows South Hayward, there's a big park over there, a very big Hispanic community down there also. And they said that the park ranger got into an accident with another truck. That's what it came out as.
Okay.
So I was just like, all right, fucking accident, god damn it. And I'm like literally across the street. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn it. I'm gonna take this accident. It's gonna freaking hold me up for another hour dealing with this. Whatever. Let me go. I'm right there. So I'm about to go over the radio, like, I'm about to be 97 or be on scene with this. Put me off. So as I'm driving up, I could see there's an RV and it's kind of kissing the park ranger's truck. Across the street, there's a quinceañera going on. So there's a bunch of kids out there partying. They're doing their thing out there with the family, which is not unusual. People do it all the time out there. And I'm pulling up, and at that point, the dispatch comes over and they're like, the driver just maced the ranger, and they need you code 3.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, I'm ready here, whatever. So I'm pulling up. I'm expecting to see 2 people arguing. And you know, you talk about the spidey senses.
Yeah.
You should always listen to those spidey senses.
Hell yeah.
It's a real thing. My spidey senses,
100%.
as soon as I made the right onto that street, something was telling me, like, something's here
off.
that you're not seeing. I don't know where it is, but
Yep.
something's off right
Yeah.
now. So I'm pulling up. The ranger's standing in the middle of the street. He's just looking at me. He's got this dumb look on his face. I'm looking at him like, I'm not getting any hand signals. I'm not getting like, fuck yous. I'm getting nothing. Like, zero out of this guy. And I'm like, where the fuck's the other guy at? So I'm pulling up, and as I'm pulling up, I was like, something tells me, just let me teeter my car off to the side. We had ballistic doors. So I was like, let me teeter my car off to the side. Something tells me I need my ballistic doors here in a second.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I was like, I got to do this. So
I have no idea what's going to happen with the story, but are you sensing an ambush? It sounds like it's an ambush.
I'm sensing there's a gun somewhere around here, and
Yeah.
I'm about to get shot at.
Okay.
That, for some reason, that was a picture in my head.
Okay.
Like, somebody's got a gun. I don't know where it is,
Yep.
but I'm about to drive into it. So I'm looking at the guy, and as I'm pulling up, open the door, I'm like, what's going on here right now? Like, talk to me. He's like, looking at me, not saying anything. So I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, dude, if he's running, tell me he's running somewhere so I can start chasing this guy. So he's looking at me, and then from across the street, the party is like, he's in there, he's got a gun. And I was like, boom, there it is. That's what I was looking for. So as they're saying that, I could see, like, there's nobody in the driver's seat of the RV, but you could see somebody's moving in the RV. So I'm like, oh shit, he's got fucking guys in there. So by the time I'm able to react to that, This guy's in the driver's seat of the RV. He's starting it up. So I'm putting out a trap. All right, he's starting up the RV. He's about to take off out of here. Before I could even finish his sentence, this guy throws it in drive, and I didn't have any real retrospective how powerful RVs were at that point in time.
Yeah.
So, like I said, he's kissing this truck, and the truck is lined up behind like 5 or 6 different cars. They're parked on the side. It's like a real small, narrow street. Throws it in drive, and he starts just boom, boom, driving cars down the street. He's pushing cars.
Unbelievable.
So I'm like sitting there. And again, as this is going on, as you know, critical incidents and things that happen extremely fast, it's slowing your head. And you're like, legit, I mean, I'm just thinking, God damn. I was like, I did not know RVs were that fucking powerful.
Exactly.
And this is what I'm thinking of as
you have like funny conversations with yourself as it's going down.
What the fuck is going on here right now? So I'm like, all right, let me go ram my car into the side of his. And then as I'm about to do that, I'm like, what the fuck is my Ford Explorer going to do to this car? He just took 7 cars down the street. So I'm like, all right. So I'm putting that, all right, he's taking off, blah, blah, blah. They put out a 10-3, which basically gives you the air. Things are about to get serious here, whatever is going to happen. My big concern now, and my one thing that I can't deal with as a cop, you could blow your brains out next to me and I could eat a slice of pizza while waiting for the coroner to get there. Kids, I can't do it. I can't watch kids get hurt. I can't, if God forbid a kid is dying, it's selfish of me when I was a cop, but I'd almost wish that somebody else would get there first every single time.
No, not selfish.
I almost would want to take the long route around. If I heard a kid was dead, I was like, I have to take the long route just so I don't get there first. And I'm picturing in my head now, it's like the worst fucking thing that I could see is about to happen right now. And he's not going to take out one. He's going to take out 10, 15 fucking kids right in front of me. So I'm like, fuck. So I'm literally trying to figure out in my head, how am I going to stop this from happening? So he's starting to ram his way up. At this point, my partner's coming up. I could hear her screeching lights and sirens. She pulls down the street. I kind of see her getting out of her car. I'm in the process of reversing my car out of there. I was hoping that he was just going to take off and I chase him. And as I'm doing that, I have my driver's side door open because I'm waiting if I have to jump out or not.
Yeah.
I hear her go, and then I start hearing screeching tires. I'm like, where the fuck are those coming from? So I kind of look around, and as I see his reverse lights. Boom! Slams into her car in reverse.
Damn.
I didn't even hear him coming. Slams to her car. She disappears. And I'm like, fuck, he just killed her. So I'm like, all right, let me get out of this car, and I'm going to start fucking dumping rounds in this car now. I mean, my policy's checked all the boxes at this point, and we're good to go.
Hell yeah.
So I go to do that, and as I do that, I'm hearing screeching tires again. I'm like, where the fuck is that coming from now? So I look to my right, and he is just fucking reversing straight at me. And it was one of those, I was just like...
Just like a full-size RV?
Oh, yeah. It was full-size RV. And that was the thing. I'm like, how is he getting this fucking angle so goddamn fast? So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I'm like, I can't move fast enough to get out of this car. And if I do, I'm going to get ran over. I was like, this is going to suck. So I just grabbed onto the steering wheel. He, boom, slams into my car. It was like a fucking movie. I could just see the glass slow motion go to my face. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this sucks.
It's like Deadpool, man. You see that glass.
It's literally like that. That's what people understand a lot of times, too. When these life or death incidences happen, that stuff really happens. We see things in slow motion. You can see bullets come out of guns. Like, people tell you that, and they're like, oh, bullshit, you never saw that. Oh, the gun was this big. No, your body does things that puts you in life-saving mode that you start becoming superhuman, in a sense.
Physiological responses are 100%.
Insane. So I'm watching the glass come out, and I'm like, oh, it sucks. So then everything speeds up. My car is getting pushed sideways over the curb. My door's open, so I'm holding onto the wheel so I don't fall off. I'm sitting probably this close to the fucking guy at this point in time. Like, he's driving, and he's like side by side pushing my car over to the side.
You're basically looking right directly into his face?
Guy's eyes, and I'm looking at him. I remember the one thing I thought, I was like, this guy's fucking nuts. He was tweaked the fuck out.
All right.
So I'm looking at him. He's looking dead at me. Like, he's just like, like that. And I'm like, this guy's fucking crazy. So I'm like, I got to fucking shoot him. I was like, I have to get my gun out somehow. So I'm looking at my rifle. I can't get it. Everything's pinned up against me.
Yeah.
So I can't get my gun out. I can't get my rifle out because I could literally reach over the window and contact shot him. And I'm like, fuck, I'm stuck. So I'm just riding this thing out. And as he's breaking off, like I told you, my fucking one fear is literally about to happen. He's driving towards these kids at this point.
Damn.
And I can't do nothing about this. So somehow he starts breaking off my car and he slams into a van and his car stops. He either stalls, something happens where it stops. Partner runs down the sidewalk, and I'm like, okay, I see her running, and she's starting to go to engage this guy. And I'm like, okay, she's alive. So I was able to get out of my car. Thank God I didn't fucking flip. Get out. She cranks around off. He's in the car, fucking doing the whole hands are moving around and shit. I get out and run up to the car. He's moving. I'm like, dude, if you fucking move, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he's going to grab a gun at this point in time.
Oh, yeah.
So he does this, looks at me, looks down, looks at me, and he fucking does it. Reaches down. And I just let everything I had in my gun, I let out into that car. She lets it out into that car. It was just the two of us at the time. Dump it, watch him drop in between the seats. I'm like, all right, this fight's over. And they tell you, Until you can confirm this fight's over, the fight's not over.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's for a reason.
Yeah.
So I fucking put another mag in, get up on, got my flashlight in, because at this point it's starting to get dark. So I'm flashlighting in there. It was the day before Halloween. All right. Fucking guy sits up like Jason. Bro, I was like, psychologically, it fucks you up. Because I just gave you everything I could possibly give you in every sort of violence. Like, I'm trying to take you out at this point. And you just sat up and ate that shit.
It's unbelievable.
And I'm like, what the fuck? The first thing I said about it was like, zombie. I was like, yeah, fucking real. I was like, this is nuts. So he sits up and I'm like, how the fuck did he not die just now? So you can see clearly he's hit. He's all over. He's fucking riddled everywhere but his head. So at this point, he's making the fucking weird sounds, and I'm just like, dude, you move. I'm putting one right in your grape at this point. I'm going to slow it down. I'm putting one right in your head.
Yeah. Got to pop that grape.
So end up going around, taking him out, blah, blah, blah. Thank God that van actually stopped him from going onto the sidewalk and hitting these kids and stuff. So I was grateful for that. I remember that was one of the questions I was asking after the whole process when they're taking you backstage. I was like, did any fucking kids get hit? Nobody else got shot. He was the only one. No fucking rounds of ricocheting going anywhere. No, everybody's good. I was like, all right, I'm good with this then.
Yeah.
Whatever. So now everybody thinks that's the highlight. Oh, yeah, it's the hardest part is the shooting. No, that shit is fucking easy. The shooting part's easy. It's the after effect. Because now you're so hopped up. And I mean, that was my first shooting. I'm fucking hopped. Everything that could have happened went crazy.
Oh, yeah. And this is only 3 months out of the academy, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like you're a seasoned veteran.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, luckily I was working with some guys that were able to help out certain things.
Yep.
I lost my hearing. Like, I thought at first my earpiece actually fell out. So I'm hearing the ringing and I'm like, fuck, I'm deaf. And then I had the tunnel vision was another thing too, which I was fortunate to know I was going into tunnel vision.
Is that nuts?
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
I got shot at, me and my partner, guy with a 357 in Thomasville, for those who know Atlanta. And he's about 25 yards away. If it wasn't dark, I don't know, I probably would have seen the muzzle flash either way, but just saw the muzzle flash, just did not hear the gun at all. And the tunnel vision that happens is you see nothing else. But essentially that guy's hand. It's incredible.
And that's what I recognized was happening because I was trying to see other things. And fortunately for me, and I'm not bragging in any way, I was always like good with knowing, like start looking for other things. And I was like, okay, I dealt with him, but I was like, is there anything else around me? And I remember not being able to see anything. So I was telling my partner, I was like, I need a street sign. I was like, give me a street sign. And I kept telling her, I was like, and she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, tell me where the street sign is so I can start fucking looking at it. And she did it, and then all of a sudden I snapped out of it. And I was like, all right, I knew what I had to do. I just had to figure out how to get the fuck out of it. So then my hearing was going. I was like, fuck, I could hear like dispatcher, and I'm like, I'm deaf. Fuck, I just shot my eardrums out. But then I realized my earpiece was like hanging down here. That's why I couldn't hear this shit. So yeah, man, ended up taking him out. He's all, dude, he was riddled up, man.
How many shots did he take?
Fuck, I think it was like 12 or 13. But it was weird.
And he's dead or no?
No, he fucking.
Is that amazing?
He died eventually down the road, but it was the craziest thing because they tell you with side profile and everything like that. There's a bunch of information with shootings and things like they teach you this stuff, and then when you actually get into it, you're like, oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Silhouette and all that, but the energy from the rounds that were going through the door, it must have been taking just enough energy off of these bullets because there were rounds sitting underneath his skin and between like the muscle. It was the weirdest shit.
Really? So you could see it protruding?
Oh, I could see it.
That's
I could
nuts.
see the bullet sitting there.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Like he had holes under his arm. Then I'm like, he's not bleeding though. And I'm like, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
You know? So another part that we found out later on after the investigation, because they were asking us questions like, who shot the propane tank? I'm like, what are you talking about? There's a propane tank in front of the car. And I'm like, dude, I was not throwing rounds fucking 10 feet off over there. I'm telling you. They're like, somebody shot the propane tank. I'm like, dude, that wasn't me. I'm like, you have to ask somebody else. There was two of us there, and I'm telling you, I know my rounds, but watch my BWC. So end up watching it. They end up playing it back in slow mode. Remember I told you he was reaching?
Yep.
What he was reaching for was a fucking propane tank. So they run this to the video back in slow motion. I'll show it to you later. I actually have the video.
Nice.
And he actually grabs a propane tank, puts it up in front of his head. First 3 rounds. Bing, bing, bing. Fucking eat the shit. The fucking propane tank eats it. Thank God it's not like the movies where that shit blows up.
Yeah.
Guys, it does not work like that. In the movies where you shoot a propane tank and it blows up.
I would have thought that spark would have ignited it myself.
Nothing.
Not even like a movie thing.
It doesn't work like that. If you have probably like tracers, you could probably do that. But thank God, because if that did blow, just the shrapnel alone would have fucking
Oh my God, forget about it.
We would have died off of it. Everybody would have died there. We were that close. So round eat, and then you see the propane tank roll and hit the front. Those probably would have been his fucking come to God moments right there.
No doubt.
Immediately. But again, you're always in the right place. Right, it wasn't his time right then and there. I mean, he ended up going somewhere else later on, but it was That was wild, man. And then I actually made World Star. My first shooting, I was on World Star.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So the investigators came. They found a couple of guns like in the bushes. They were like, guys, whose guns are these? So I guess because South Hayward, a bunch of gangsters out there at the party and shit, they heard us start dumping rounds and they started throwing their fucking guns and getting the hell out of it. So it was...
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was one of them, man. That was a wild one, dude. But again, deal with it. Like, all right, this is supposed to happen.
Well, how are you? First thing is, I just wanted to talk about quickly the fact that you were hitting this guy. You hit him 12, 13 times. He's still not stopping. So for those of you who are active and civilians who may get in a gunfight eventually, never stop until you know for sure that threat is done. I remember the FBI shooting in, I think, 86 in Miami. I think he was hit 8 times, and he was still calm. He ended up killing 2 or 3 FBI agents, which that led them to creating a 10mm handgun. That's what led to that, because they wanted more stopping capability. But I always had that in my head. Never think it's over just because you hit him once, twice, whatever the case may be. And now after the shooting, how are you mentally? How do you process it well?
So
you're 100% in the right. So
yeah,
it's a good shoot. We know that.
I was good, but even with you being good, you still have that question mark in your head. Like,
I always wondered
right?
how
like,
I'd be.
Did I engage right way? Was there something that I did wrong? Because again, I just fucking took a guy out. So I'm like, what could possibly go wrong here for me at this point? So at this point, if everybody doesn't know what happens next, you kind of become almost like a suspect in a sense. It kind of sucks.
True.
So they take you away.
They take your gun right there at the scene?
Not at the scene. So we go to the PD, take your gun. They actually give you, switch off. They give you another gun. Obviously, they don't want you rolling around with that. And then you sit around, you got to wait for your lawyer. You don't say shit. You sit in a room. They have a babysitter, I call them, with you. They sit there, and then they're asking you, oh, you want something to eat, something to drink? And you're such on adrenaline high. You're like, dude, I don't need anything.
I can imagine.
You know? And then you got the people that want to come in and give you the high fives and like, yeah, good job. And I'm like, all right, cool. I appreciate that and all. But and then you start thinking like, all right, let me run this through my head. What did I miss? What did I do? And then you start really delving into it. And you're like, okay, was that questionable? Then you start making up scenarios.
And this is a perfect shoot. So it's unquestionable, yet you're still questioning.
Yes, 100%.
It's amazing.
Yeah, 100%. Then even with them giving me the thumbs up, like nobody else got hit. And I'm like, all right, but did anybody else, was there any rounds that maybe fucking went through that park? Maybe somebody's going to come back. All that stuff. And then obviously the messages start coming in, you know? And then you want to tell your loved ones and everything, all right, like this happened. I don't know what's going to pop up in the news. I'm all good, blah, blah, blah. So on and so forth. So.
And then as time goes on, like weeks, months later.
So months later, that's when it starts getting a little bit questionable. So my first one I got 2 weeks off. So I'm sorry. The next day you have to sit down, you got to go through your interview process, talk to your lawyer, you know, and it's legit. Like you're potentially a suspect in this thing, you know? They're asking you, people that you work with, they're asking you questions that you're like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like,
I can
are
imagine.
You seriously asking me this question? I had IA ask me, why'd you shoot so many times? I'm like, what? I'm like, I didn't want to be here. I wasn't fucking even looking for this guy. Like, how about that type of question, you know? And in my head, at that point, I'm like, all right, I see what people talk about things sometimes. Like, they don't feel like the department's with them. Well, you know what? Younger cop, it is what it is. Let's get back out there. So my mentality was, fuck that. Did one. I showed everybody I could handle business. Let's get out there and let's make it happen again. Fucking guy almost got my wish day one on my way back.
Really?
So, almost got into another one. The first day I got back, I had a guy, ankle monitor, fucking ended up assaulting a CHP officer, his probation officer. Idiot chopped off his ankle monitor, threw it in the back of the car he's driving, like we can't track the damn thing. So gang unit, this is when I'm trying to get on gang unit SWAT. So I used to basically hang off their freaking hip wherever they were. I made sure I was right down the street, whatever they were doing, just to get involved and show them like, all right, guys.
Yeah,
like,
hell yeah. Good networking.
So they find this guy. I hear one of our sergeants who was, I'm not going to say his name, but solid fucking guy. Like one of those guys you look up to. Like, and when you see him at first, you're like, this guy does what? Like he's one of those nerdy looking dudes, but he
is that funny, man. Sometimes
handles business.
You know, you look at the jack dudes, it's cool. And some other cats, you hear reputation, like what? You see him. I had a sergeant like that, looked like biggest. I'm like, this guy's got to be the greatest chess player. Ended up being a hardcore dude.
100%.
So never judge a book by its cover. And it's great for cops that are in the street. Don't ever look at someone and think it's going to be a cakewalk, man, just because he looks like that. Look at somebody. Look at Nate Diaz, UFC fighter.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like shit when like nothing when you're looking at him.
He'll handle business.
Yeah, 100%. He can throw hands.
100%. But yeah, man, you get back, and this is probably the fastest pursuit I've ever been in ever. So this guy, gang unit ends up getting off on him. We end up pulling a felony stop on him. And as soon as we go to tee off on him, he fucking slams the gas in his minivan, rams our sergeant, and he thought we were going to start dumping rounds. Like, the guys that were sitting in that gang unit and then myself, he's like, they're definitely gonna start shooting. But we didn't have, I knew he was in front of the car, and this is another thing, guys, also, you gotta know everything in backdrop. Before you start pumping rounds, you gotta know where your backdrop is. So fortunately for our sergeant, we knew he was in front of that car, and we're like, we can't shoot. So he rams the way out, chases on, man. We went from Hayward to Oakland. That's probably about a 15, 20-minute drive. We probably got there in like 10 minutes.
Nice.
We were flying. I mean, I maxed out my friggin' Explorer. I was at I think it redlined at like 130. And we were...
This guy's driving a minivan?
I could not...
Dude, it's unbelievable. These shitty vehicles, they make them look like Formula One cars
I had
sometimes.
no idea how this guy got this car. So the thing was, we were having a hard time staying up on him.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We were like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's CHP. Like, we need the other cars out here.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So we ended up, me and one of my now good friends, and this was at a point in time where still... It's like a football team or anything else, any other sports. You got to prove yourself to the boys. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you could be the big dude, but you still got to prove yourself. And there's got to be those moments where we call, I guess, the bro moments, whatever. So this is my bro moment, I think. This is where I think, like, the SWAT guys gang were like, all right, you got it.
Yeah.
So I just got back from shooting. This happened. We're chasing him. We chased him all the way into Alameda, which is right there by Oakland. Ended up pitting him. He ends up crashing into a fucking park bench. Car lights on fire. It's like another movie scene. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. First day back, I'm going to get another one. So I'm rifled up. I pull up behind him. He fucking does the head pop, and I'm just waiting for the gun to pop out.
Yeah.
And he takes off running through the park. It was just like, and it was like for a backdrop being perfect, I'm like, dude, there's nothing back here besides that. It was nighttime. Partner gets out, which was one of the SWAT guys. The other guy, I think he was a TL at the time. Another guy, a SWAT guy, was out there. Gang of the guys were all SWAT guys, so foot chases on. And a lot of people thought because I was big that I was in fast. So I got to fucking put the tires on that day, and he takes off through there with rifle in hand. I tuck rifle, and I start fucking chasing this guy. My partner's ahead of me, and I just fucking toast. My partner, I catch up to this guy. We get on, give him the love he needs, and end up taking him to custody, all that stuff. It was kind of one of those, like, you caught that dude? And he's like, bro, you're fucking fast.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like one of those moments, all right, I see where you're going.
I like when the perps look at it, and you're like, yo, man, I can't believe you called me.
Oh, it's a great thing, because when they turn around, you're right there, and they're like, oh, shit.
Exactly, yeah. It's funny.
So, yeah, I think that was my moment. Like, and they could talk about this probably more themselves, where I was just like, all right, guys, I could do everything you need me to do, plus more. So, at that point, then we kind of ran through, and I kind of started getting on with the guy I told you we were running with. They used to call us Riggs and Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Anytime we were doubled up and we were getting a gun,
shit kicked off.
100%, you knew. If we got on the radio, start coming our way, because we're about to get into it.
That I love, man. Certain guys, when they're on the radio, you know, it's real deal.
Yeah.
And then you just start heading there because shit's going down.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So, yeah, it was good, man. So, that was another one. I mean, how many of these stories you want to go into?
More along the lines, like, I want to show, any residual effects to where, it was tough going through
I'll give you a big one that bothered me. So, obviously, we see a bunch of different things. The bubbles popped. I've seen people blow their heads off. I've seen people slit throats. I mean, a bunch of shootings. One of the things that I never really talked, I didn't even know it really bothered me until after I retired. We got to a call, shots fired, and then Hayward, shots fired is fucking shots fired.
Right,
but then when you get 4 or 5 calls, and you're like, all right, something's up. So we get there. It's like early day, like lunchtime. And we get this lady, black lady, comes out screaming. He just shot himself. He shot himself. We're like, oh, fuck, somebody's in there with a gun. So we treat it as, all right, let's clear his house first. We don't know if we're fucking getting ambushed, what is going on. So we deal with it accordingly. First one in, me, my partner, I fucking hook left, and lo and behold, mid-aged kid, probably like 25, 26, on there, 38 in his hand, fucking, you can see the brains are like just holding on for life, about to come out. I say, put it in his mouth and fucking blew the back of his head out. And he's doing the death gurgle, fucking shake and everything. So we clear the house, go over, fire guys. Fortunately, the fire guys in Hayward were real good too. They're extremely quick, which makes it easy on us.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of like, all right, you guys do your thing. Let me go outside and kind of try to hold this lady back. Because anybody that's dealt with stuff like that, that's the hardest part, man.
Yeah, it is.
Is just watching the families. So the story of it is the mother worked down the street, and this story actually gets extremely convoluted. Works down the street, and she forgot her lunch or something at home. So she came back during lunch. Her son, who was the one that was on the couch, ended up, for whatever reason, decided it was the day he was going to fucking kill himself. He didn't know she was coming in, apparently, because she never comes home at that time. She walks in as he's fucking pulling the trigger. Watch the whole fucking thing.
Wow. This poor lady.
So she's losing it. So at this point, Fire is trying to take him out. So she's obviously trying to go over and blah, blah. So it sucks, but you kind of have to lie. Like, oh, no, he's going to be okay. They're working on him, blah. And you know damn well that's not the case. Yeah. So I'm holding her back. And if you ever held, like, I'm not a weak individual. You ever try holding a mother back from her child? I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm almost breaking this lady's ribs. Yep. I had her in a bear hug, and I'm almost breaking her ribs trying to keep her from fucking. I could feel it.
Oh, yeah.
And she's getting out of my grip. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So she got a hold of her husband, I guess, who was his father. And at the same time, while the kid's coming out, the father pulls up. So my background is I don't know my biological father. My stepfather, who was my father, was white. A black mother, white father. All my brothers are mixed. So for some reason, automatically in my head, I felt it happen, but I had to, like, again, we got to fucking shut the switch off real quick. I just related it to my mom and my dad, and one of my brothers killing himself. Yeah. And I remember feeling it in my head. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And automatically, like, switch off, get that off right now. So compartmentalized that, threw that back there, lost it somehow, and didn't think about it ever again until later on down the road. So either way, I had to literally hold both of them back from them seeing their kid. So I ended up going to the hospital, following them up there. At that point, I'm literally like watching the kid's brain, like the pressure, just to fucking shoot his brain out. And I'm like, he's not surviving that. And he ended up dying there. And they come up same time. Our crime tech comes up to the hospital, and I'm thinking, oh, she's here to take pictures, whatever. And she's crying, and she just comes up and gives me a hug. And I'm like, sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? Yeah. Like, I'm on my phone playing a game. You know how we do. They just kind of.
I know something's up, but I have no idea.
Yeah, and I'm like, literally shocked me. Like, why is she crying? Like, who the fuck? Like, do you know this kid? And all of a sudden, come to find out it's like her nephew.
Wow.
And her husband was a cop we worked with also. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, this is too much for me right now. Like, I just shut myself down for this. So the point of that was, after I retired, there was some things, and it just popped at my head one day. And I kept reliving that scene over and over. Even now, I could see it vividly over and over and over again. Like my brother killing himself, my mom walking in, and my dad being there for that. Yep. And not being able to do something about it. And that was a big fear I had too. Like when I worked, is like being physically able to help people and not being able to do it, you know? And I felt like that. I felt like I should have been able to do more for whatever reason. I felt like in that scene, and I was in a bunch of scenes where people died and fuck shit. But for some reason, that one connected, man. Even to this day, I felt fucking terrible. Like I literally saw my mom's face on this lady and my dad's face on this guy. It was fucking crazy to me. Yeah. So that was a bad one. And then, like I said before too, it was the whole thing of me being physically able to do things to help people and not be able to do it. We had another one of our sergeants getting shot at a BART station downtown. I heard the shots ringing off. I hear her come over the radio, like I'm getting shot at, shots fired. I could hear. I don't know where the guy is. She's trying to, pet peeve as a cop, get the fuck off the radio.
Oh my God.
If somebody's fucking putting out pertinent information, we don't need to know that you're en route. Yep. Somebody says shots fired, it's a good assumption that everybody's fucking coming. Okay? Get off the fucking radio.
Or at most, 2 cars say they're going, everyone else stay the fuck off the radio.
I hate it, man.
Atlanta was great because guys would do that. 1 or 2 cars en route, everyone else stay off. Suffolk County, man, I don't know how many times I brought it up in inspection. We don't need to know who else is going. We know everyone's going.
And like, I wish I would have known, like there's buttons you could press on the radio to shut everybody the hell up. And I wish I would have known that when I was working. There was several times I wish I would have done it. This was one of the times, like shots are going off. This dude's definitely got a gun. We knew we were hunting for somebody. We didn't know who it was. She's trying to put out the radio traffic of who it is. I unfortunately am running right next to this fucking guy because I don't have the information of who the hell I'm looking for. Come to find out when I jumped out to go see because I thought she was dead. And I'm like, what the fuck? I could hear it. I don't want to run in there 100 miles an hour and get shot in the face. And then when she is able to get on the radio, she puts out the description, and I'm like, that motherfucker was just standing next to me. I literally just ran by him.
Still carrying?
Oh, yeah. Still had the gun. Still, he could have shot me. Yeah. He had me dead to rights. The one we were talking about. That would have been my time, and no matter how good I could have been.
Exactly.
He had me dead to rights because I didn't have what I needed. And then even after that, man, it was like I saw him, chased him down. Beautiful backdrop. It was a big concrete building. I was like, if I'm letting out everything in his gun at this guy. Unfortunately, my one of our partners decided to drive his car in front of me as I'm about to start dumping rounds. And again, probably not to his fault because he didn't know where the guy was, but I'm just like,
yeah, you killing me, bro.
Yeah,
killing me.
At that same time, dude turns around, points the gun at both of us, and I'm just like, I can't do nothing. I'm eating this round. And luckily for everybody there, he decided, you know what, fuck this. I'm not going to go out like a big boy. I'm going to drop the gun. And I'll tell you the rest of that story later. But
yeah, luckily.
Yeah, so things like that, man. Like those are some of the things that like really stuck in my head. But again, it's stuck there, but I compartmentalized it.
Yeah.
So I just threw it in the backpack and left it back there. So after I retired and everything, because I retired PTSD, medical retirement, and there was another incident which I told you about. I'm not going to talk about that now. That I was angry, dude. I was fucking angry.
Of course.
Like inside, I didn't show it fully to everybody, but I was angry. And I started getting to a point where I was like, people are going to pay for this shit. Like, I'm going to find people. I'm not going to just hunt down regular people. I'm not going to go fucking active shooter on people.
Yeah.
I'm going to find the bad people. I'm going to put them in a position. And it's not my place to be the judge and executioner, but I'm going to do that, you know? And I remember my last day. That's what happened, dude. Scenario played out. I left the station fucking pissed. And I went to go find somebody. I found them. I knew they had a gun on them. I knew how this was going to end. And something in my head was like, that's it. That's enough. And that was it. That was my last day. And then
it's amazing. You had that awareness.
Yeah, I had that awareness, but there was one of my partners committed suicide also. A fucking week after that. It was just like things compounded, and then it was just then COVID happened. So then I got to sit in my apartment by myself for a year, thinking about shit, missing the boys, you know, doing all that stuff. Like I even told you, man, like I would sit in my apartment. Like this is when COVID was bad and like the riots were going on.
Yep.
And like fucking there were shootouts everywhere. Like a lot of people don't know what was happening in California. California was the wild, wild west.
Oh,
It was insane out there. Like it was fucking wild. Shootouts every fucking night. They're stealing, running car dealerships, fucking slamming malls, shooting out with the cops. Like it was fucking wild. And I remember I used to sit on my couch with the radio. Because I had my TAC vest, I still had my radio. And I would sit there and I would just wait. And I would want somebody to just pull up to where my apartment was. And I was ready. I was going to get my TAC vest on, go out there, and I was just going to fucking jump in whatever was going on.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it didn't happen that way.
Thank God.
Yeah, man, it was just, you start missing that. And then you start sitting in a room with your thoughts, you know? And then you start seeing the dark stuff. And then you start thinking about other things. And I was never suicidal or anything like that, but you start
me either.
Really questioning things. And then, so fortunately, got all my paperwork done. And January 2021, moved out here to Florida. And I thought I was good. I thought everything was good. I retired, came out with pension, all that. I was like, I could just get a new start to things, you know? But then I started feeling the whole thing of like, okay, what's my purpose, man? Like, I didn't feel that purpose.
Yeah, we're purpose-driven individuals.
Yeah, being a purpose-driven individual,
Exactly.
I had the purpose. I was on a SWAT team, did the work with the gang, you know, like, had things going. And then all of a sudden in my prime, it's like hard stop. What do you do?
Yeah, who am I?
Yeah. All right, let me go do a roofing job. I'm standing there like, what are you doing up here, bro?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
get the fuck out of here with this. You know?
And you can never replace that adrenaline. We were talking about it before.
Yeah.
There's nothing like hunting another man. And you're never going to find it anywhere else. Plus now that camaraderie and brotherhood is gone. And, you know, I'm sure it was to you like it was to me. I was the greatest lore of the job. I loved it. It was like being on a team every day.
Seeing the boys every day, man. Even the boys and the girls. I say the boys, but everybody, man. Just that team camaraderie. And that's why I grew up. I played sports my whole life.
Yep.
Went from playing sports to becoming a cop. And it's the same. It's the exact same thing, you know. And then you think that, oh, you're a family and everybody's going to check up on you. And that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's another thing we got to talk about is that word family, man. We say we're a family. And I even talk to some people offline about things. And I'm like, we say all this. But then when I look back at it, even being on the teams, I'm like, let me ask you, if I would sit there and everybody in a row and ask him, when's my birthday?
Oh, forget
What's
it.
my daughter's name?
Yeah.
What's my other kid's name? What's your wife's name? You know, what's your son's name? I guarantee you 85% of those people couldn't tell you that.
I would say 95.
And I'm like, if that's the case, how are we so fucking tight?
Yep.
We're supposed to be going in and potentially fucking, one day you might have to stick your finger in a hole that I don't want you to stick in, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to trust you, but you can't recite back to me something small as that. I'm like, we're missing something, you know? And that's just a part of it too, that I was just like, yeah, I'm not getting those phone calls. All my buddies that we were all tight and we were talking back and forth when we were running and gunning.
Yep.
All of a sudden, nobody's there. I'm like, oh, this kind of sucks, you know? Don't get me wrong. There was definitely a handful of people that I still talk to that
definitely.
were there, but
the majority kind of fall by the wayside, man.
By the wayside, man.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate. After a couple of attempts at some employment, I got into the firearms industry and with some other people I got to kind of mesh with and lead into things. But I still wasn't healed, man. I thought I was good. I got into a relationship and thought it was all good. But like I say, hurt people, and we were definitely two type A personalities that were hurting each other.
Yeah.
You know? So
That's the thing. When you're going through stuff, in some respects, you're incapable of having healthy relationships because you're not yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's not to say you're mentally ill. It's just you're hurting.
Yeah.
You have these traumas and these issues that occurred, and you never process them. You just bury. You know, we call it compartmentalize. It's fucking burying. That's all we do.
Oh yeah,
bury.
It's buried, and then my emotional intelligence was fucking minimal at that point.
Yeah.
I had minimal emotional intelligence. I knew how to get angry. I knew how to get when I felt sad.
That's
I would just
easiest emotion,
transfer
isn't it?
over. Like, let me just get angry about something. You know, I would go lift something. I would put some more weight on the bar.
You get hurt,
lift that.
make it anger.
Exactly.
Everything is transitions into anger, and it's
was,
fuel. It's great to have
Yes.
sometimes, but you know what? It's detrimental.
And it was something I was trained to
your
do.
well-being.
Like I was playing football, I'd get angry. You know what? I could hit you even harder.
Exactly.
It'd be good. You know? On the streets. You know, I'm angry about something. All right, let me find something I can let it out on. You know, in a relationship that doesn't work too well.
Nah.
Around your kids, it doesn't work that way. You know. So I mean, just fast forwarding through that part, it was just like that didn't work out in the relationship aspect. I didn't know what I was going through. She didn't know. It was not her fault. It's I'm not blaming anybody but myself for this when I say this. Because it was up to me to figure this out.
Yeah. I didn't know either, too, to echo your sentiment.
So, I was getting angry at people, and then I'll fast forward a little bit to the point of where I started realizing I needed some extra help with this. So, throughout this whole process, like we said in the beginning, you're always in the right place at the right time. It might suck where you're at, but you're always meeting the right people.
Exactly.
Everything is happening. And then when you look back at it, you're like, that's not a coincidence that happened. There's no coincidence.
I don't believe in coincidences.
Not at all. Like this right here is not a coincidence. No. So all this is going on. I ended up breaking up. I was actually engaged. Ended up breaking off the engagement. A bunch of freaking stuff was going on. I had some health issues that popped up out of nowhere. My kids and everything. Like I'm going through this whole thing again. It happened with my daughter. Now my 2 boys. I'm just like, dude, I'm fucking just reliving this over again. So now I'm the anger plus the hurt. I'm just, I don't even know how to deal with this shit at this point.
Yeah.
So now I'm in my own place. Got my own place. Now I'm back to where I was at again. I'm sitting in a room by myself.
Self-isolating.
Yep.
As we do.
So I have 2 young boys. So I was able during this process, fortunately, to meet and befriend DJ and Cole over at GBRS. So DJ Shipley and Cole, I don't even know how the hell we met. But so, ironically, I ended up meeting them at a SIG event and then another event. It was a SHOT Show. I met DJ also. Okay. So we got to talking about psychedelic meds and Ambio and all that stuff. And I was in a mindset. I was like, you guys are out of your fucking mind.
And it is incredible. You and I was speaking prior to DJ. I went for training with GBRS group last year, and DJ and I had entered into a pretty deep conversation about our individual psychedelic journeys. It's just amazing the way things come full circle around here. And again, I don't believe in coincidences. We were meant to meet, meant to be here. Like, it's just amazing.
Yeah, it really is. So I've never done a hard drug in my life. Nothing.
Me either.
Not alcoholic. Like I haven't drank in 3 years. It's not because I just don't do it.
Yep.
You know, my drug is food, and that's literally. And at one point it was women. You know. So I remember talking to DJ about it, Cole about it a little bit, and then I was like, I appreciate the sentiment, but I ain't going out doing fucking psychedelics, dude. I was like, this is fucking nuts.
Yep.
So I ended up listening to DJ and Sean Ryan podcast, listened to a couple other guys.
Eddie Penny,
yes. Yeah. Eddie
Penny changed the trajectory of my life.
And then I was like, you know what? It started sparking my interest a little bit. So I was like, maybe we'll read up on it a little bit more. And legit, another event came up, sat down with DJ and Cole again, talked about it again. And again, as you know, we're like, you know what? We're good. I'll fight through it. I'll be good. You know, it's like anything else. It's just a headache. We take some Tylenol and be good. So I'm sitting in the kitchen one day. My little one is a year old, and then my other one's 2. Youngest, just washing dishes. He's playing on my leg, doing what kids do, you know? And as he's playing on my leg, I remember just sitting there and slapped me, and I felt this fucking energy wave. It was like a shock wave of anxiety and just overstimulation hit me out of nowhere. I didn't know what it was. It was like somebody hit me in the back of the head with a baseball bat. I remember looking down at him, and I love my kids to death. I'll fucking kill anybody you touch my kids, and that'll be another story I'll tell you in a second. And I remember looking at him, and I didn't say it, but I thought to myself, get the fuck off of me. Like, why are you touching me right now? And I was like, what was that? And I remember after it happened, I was like, what the fuck was that just now?
Yeah.
I literally became a different person for a millisecond. And I was like, what the fuck was that? You know?
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I was like, oh, fuck. Whatever that was, let me just go take a walk real quick and I'll come back. I'll be good. So I was like, whatever. Kind of signed that off. A couple days after that, I had all my kids in the car. Had my daughter in the front seat, 2 boys in the back, and I'm driving. And we're getting off on the exit, off of 95 over on Gateway.
Okay.
So as we're getting off, I'm going to stop at that light to get off to get on the gateway, and there was a spider in the car. My daughter is like losing her shit. She's like, "Oh shit, there's a spider." So I give her a water bottle. I was like, "Take the water bottle when you stop at the light. Just open the car and just swat it out." Opens up the door, and as she does, she kind of misses and like the bottle falls out. She goes to get the bottle. I'm like, "Get the fuck!" I was like, "No, get back in the car." I was like, "Don't go out there." So she closes the door, and I'm pretty freaking aware of what my surroundings at this point in time. So I'm staring, and out of my peripheral, I could see like something is coming up to the car and fast. And I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I turn around, it's this guy. He's literally like running up to the car, bends down, he's got the bottle in his hand and slams it against my daughter's window. Mike, when I tell you, I skipped like logistics, figuring out what happened, and I went to straight, he has to die.
Yeah.
I'm not bullshitting the people when I tell you, I saw red and I could see nothing else.
I believe you.
I literally, in my head, I was like, he's going to die as soon as I get my hands on him. And I forgot my kids were in the car. I would never put my kids in a scenario.
Right.
And never. Where I'm going to get into a fucking gunfight with my kids standing there. Ever. And I skipped over all that. And I was like, I'm going to fucking kill this dude right now. Like I told you, everything I used to do was like, somebody else has to pay for it. I was like, everything that I'm feeling right now, you're going to fucking feel.
Yeah.
Guy takes off. I literally fucking chase this dude down. And I put him in a bed like I'm a cop again. I fucking tee off with this guy. And I fucking opened the window. My window's all blacked out. So he clearly didn't see who was in the car at the point. When he saw my face when I rolled that window, because I literally pushed my daughter back and I started fucking letting this dude have it. And I was saying some things that I didn't even think my daughter knows what the fuck I was saying. And I remember yelling at the fucking guy, and I could see the dead. Like this guy thought he was dead. Like he was this close to it and he thought he was dead. And I remember doing it. And I remember at one point I could see out of my peripheral my boys looking at me. And I saw the look on their face. They were like, "What the fuck?" type of look. And I remember catching that. And then all of a sudden, like, "What are you doing?" And then I remember I felt like such a piece of shit. And I was like, "Are you out of your fucking mind right now?
Yep.
Doing this? You're going to get into a fucking shooting right now? You're going to go fucking beat this dude's ass in front of you?" I was like, "You're fucking out of your mind right now." So I ended up making the guy apologize. I had to get out of the car and apologize to my daughter. Either way to end it. Drive back. I get home. I text DJ. I was like, "DJ, send me over the paperwork right now. Whatever we got to do, send it over."
Yep.
DJ did his thing, helped me out getting into him and Patsy. God bless you guys. I thank you for it. So another thing, coincidence-wise, the waiting period on it, they were telling me it was like a year, probably or so.
And it's for an Ibogaine treatment.
I'm sorry, yes.
Okay.
So for the Ibogaine treatment, which I'll explain exactly what I did with that.
Absolutely.
And again, I didn't have full fucking knowledge of what I was doing, but I was like, I need it. Whatever needs to happen.
Yeah, you need help.
Make it happen
Exactly.
right now. So did that, got funded within fucking 48 hours. I had the money to do it. And we know it's not a cheap fucking treatment.
No.
So now at this point, I'm like, oh shit, this is really happening. I got to start making excuses to get the fuck out of this right now. So I'm trying to find ways to backpedal out of it. So I'm like, you know what? It's probably gonna be like a year wait. I'm not going to get into this thing anytime. So I'll have plenty of time to get out of it. I don't have the money to do it, blah, 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 whatever. DJ gets me in contact with Trevor and Brianna, great fucking people, run Ambio Life. And I'm like, oh, it's probably gonna be a year wait and whatever. He's like, I've got openings, fuck it, like 3 weeks away. I've got openings in this week. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, okay. I got
Shit's getting real.
Shit's getting real. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I was like, I got work. I can't figure this out now. Lo and behold, I took that fucking week off for vacation a couple months back.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I was like, God damn it. I can't back out of this one either.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, what am I going to do with the kids? I got the kids that week. I got to figure that out. They're going on vacation with their mom that week. It was already planned for fucking months. So I was like, fuck, dude. I can't get out of this shit if I try. So I'm like, all right, I got to fly out to San Diego because it's out in Tijuana, Mexico. So it's like, I got to fly out. I don't have the money to buy a plane ticket. I had enough miles with work and everything like that. I was like, I have no out on this. I was like, fuck. I was like, whatever.
Universe is like, what else you got, man?
Yeah, exactly. There was no stopping it. So I was like, all right, whatever. So at this point, I'm spiritual. I don't go to church every weekend. Things like I say my prayers. I believe in God 100%. But at this point, I'm like, all right, something else is pulling here on this one, This was like years in the making, this happening. So fast forward to that week. That week comes, fly out to San Diego. So you go out to San Diego and pick you up and you go over to Tijuana. Anybody knows Tijuana? Tijuana's not like fucking going to Boca.
Hardly.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm like, fuck, I don't got my gun on me. I got nothing on me. I'm meeting up with 5 random fucking guys in San Diego. We're all getting into some random truck and we're driving over the border to Tijuana. I'm like, this can't get any sketchier than this.
Yeah, exactly.
So we do it. We all get in the car, and you're kind of, you know, a bunch of type A personality guys. We're all fucking doing this. Yeah, I know everybody.
Isn't it the funniest part? Like the Friday, whenever you guys meet, everyone's, you know, just silent, looking each other over. But I guarantee the end of the story, you guys are all hugging it out, telling you love each other.
Oh, dude, to this day, we're on group chats.
Yeah,
talk to
it's,
each other, you know?
it's incredible.
Yeah, so we're kind of in there. And I'm not talking about any like random Joe Schmoes, all ex-military guys, soft
no, these are hardened men.
Like some hardened dudes.
Yeah.
Some guys that have been through some shit with drugs, alcohol, fucking suicide. Like you hear the stories and you're like, Jesus Christ. Like I thought I had a bad day, dude, you know?
Exactly.
And then you get there and it was the weirdest thing because as soon as I got into that SUV, normally I'm hyperactive where I'm fucking boom, 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 looking around. I need to see windows. I need to see doors. I need to know all that type of stuff, you know, we get. I didn't feel that way. It was almost like a relaxing point. When I got into that car, I was like, it's all going to be all right, man. Like that, I kept saying, for some reason, it kept saying in the back of my head, like, we're all good.
Yeah.
We're going to be all good here. With 5 straight, they could have fucking all jumped me and killed me at that point in time. And I'm like, it's all good, whatever. Driving through Tijuana. Dude, there was a point where I was hearing gunshots out there. I'm like, whatever, man. So we get to the house. Fucking beautiful house, by the way. We pull up. We get there. We meet everybody, the staff. And I can't say enough about the staff, too. I'll plug them in there. The best fucking staff ever.
That's great.
Like, hands down.
Yep.
Like, I was just out there actually last week, and they remember you for everything.
Oh, really?
Obviously, they remember you because you go through some wild shit out there. But just great people, all in all. From the chefs to, like, the maids to the doctors, because you're taken care of in every angle. Like, when you get to this place, you're not thinking of anything but treatment.
Yeah.
They're getting better.
It's amazing.
Like, they don't
like
give you
empathy and love that you receive from these people. It's incredible.
Insane. So it was weird to me because I got there. I'm used to taking my bag going upstairs. So they have to do that thing, obviously, make sure nobody's fucking bringing drugs in there. So they kind of take your bag. You do your hello, welcome, get the tour around the house, go to your room. And when I get up to my room, my bag's empty, clothes are folded, put away. And I'm like, where'd my clothes? Like, where's all my shit at? They're showing me everything's laid out. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, all right, whatever. They do your laundry for you. And I will say, too, best food ever.
Oh, nice.
I would go down there just for the food.
Really?
Oh, dude, that's
sweet.
chefs.
You guys hear that? You're changing your life and you're eating like a king.
Dude, they literally take care of you in every way. It's like, I'm talking 5-course meals.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So it's a 5-day treatment if you're not doing anything in reference to detox, and then they have other treatment plans. So if you're not doing anything detox-wise, it's a 5-day treatment. And there's a whole workup to it. So I went in there kind of naive, and luckily I did it that way semi-purposefully because I didn't want to have any sort of expectations with anything. I didn't want to hear people's stories, and thankfully DJ and Cole didn't tell. They told me, and they did it purposely too. They were like, we're going to give you a little piece, but you got to, this is you got to do it on your own.
Exactly.
You know? So
I like that.
The one thing I remember DJ telling me, this makes sense later on at the end of this whole story, was when it comes to the ego portion of things, there's going to be an ego death, and you got to let it go. You got to kill your ego. I was like, all right, whatever the fuck that means. Cool.
Yep.
I don't know what that means right now.
Yeah, it sounds weird when you first hear it.
I was like, whatever.
But you know now.
Yeah, I figured out exactly what it meant afterwards. So first day, we get there, kind of do a little powwow circle. Everybody's kind of talking about themselves. And you're still standing. You got the wall up, like, you know what I'm saying, staring at each other up and down.
Absolutely.
You know, everybody's feeling each other out.
Alpha males.
We're telling the stories, but we're giving you a little piece of it, not the whole thing. But you can start seeing people starting to melt down a little bit. Like, tears are coming. And you just feel it. And as soon as you feel like, nah, fuck that, I'm done here. You know, I'm not getting any more. So whatever. And Brianna was great. Like, she knew what she was doing. Like, she let it happen the way it needed to happen. And the fucking geniuses when I do this shit.
Yeah.
Then,
no, they're unbelievable.
Afterwards, you realize it's like, oh, you sons of bitches, you got me.
I know exactly what they're doing.
So we do that. And then the first thing we do is you go and we do, I think it's called the Takama, the sweat lodge.
Okay.
And that thing, Jesus Christ. Like, I've done saunas, man. And this was the hottest sauna I've ever done in my life. And it's purposely done this way. So I think the history behind it was with the Aztecs and warriors, what they would do, obviously, to harden themselves, they would do like different hardened things before war.
Okay.
Like we do it now.
Yeah.
You do training, buds, so on and so forth. Then they do all this now. It's kind of the same thing, but it was different now.
Exactly.
So one of the things were the sauna. So I was like, all right, the sauna, dude. Like, how hot could this possibly fucking be? So we get there, they're doing the whole ritual, and this lady comes out. She's like fully dressed head to toe, and it was definitely warm out. So we're down, damn near fucking compression shorts, if that, everybody's shirts off, fucking whatever. So we get in this thing, it looks like a pizza oven, looks like a massive pizza oven. Get in, she gets in, we're all sitting around, nobody has water, and there's just a bucket of water in the middle of the whole thing, pitch black inside. And it was as tight as you could possibly be on top of it. Like, I'm literally touching one dude next to me. And at one point, this will make fucking sense. It's actually hilarious what I was doing. So you go through it, and the first day, like, it's 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off. I was like, we could do that. 15 minutes on, but you're in the fucking thing the whole time. First 15 minutes, I'm like, all right, it's getting kind of hot in here, but we'll get through it. And they're like, you can stand up if you want. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll sit down because we all know heat rises. So I'm like, fuck that. I'm not stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm sitting there. So round 2 gets there. And I'm like, fuck, it's getting like bad in here. But I'm like, I'm not tapping out. There's no way in hell I'm going to tap out in front of these guys. So now type A personalities know it's a fucking challenge of who's going to go first. So at this same time, I'm looking at the lady. And I'm like, because we had a little bit of light, even though it's like pitch black. I'm like, dude, she is fucking fully dressed head to toe. And she's sitting next to the sauna like nothing's happening right now. I'm like, holy Christ. So round 3 comes up. By the time you hit round 3 of this thing, you are just like
throwing the white flag up.
I'm trying not to touch this water, but I was like, guys, fuck this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm dousing water myself, and I'm trying to find ways to like lay on the ground so I'm not fucking boiling because you can't get any lower in the ground. Yeah. So at this point, I'm like, I'm trying not to touch the water, but the guy next to me, he's splashing. So I'm like fucking literally moving over, trying to get closer to him. So I'm getting some of the splash. So at this point, I'm getting splashed, and I was like, screw this. And they gave us a bandana, so I'm just like dousing it on myself, which is making it worse because now my skin's boiling from all the water in this.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get to round 4. And I mean, a couple of guys got close, but I think we all pushed each other through. And that's the other thing, too, is that there's a bond happening. That we don't realize it at first. There's a bond happening there. And it's like, okay, I see what's going on here now, because we're doing the chants and everything like that. So that's about an hour long. Get out of there. We get IV'd up. They always make sure you're hydrated, eat, everything like that. So day 2 is when you do the IV gain. Day 2, we get IVs. There's a massage. We do some yoga, breath work, and if guys aren't big into breath work, it's huge, fucking extremely big. Yeah, you actually could control that aspect of things, especially when you do an ibogaine. Take that part seriously because that will help you throughout the process. So we get to day 2, and then they kind of tell you, they give you a heads up, like you're gonna purge, which means you're gonna throw up. Yep. Medicine does they say about 85-90% of people purge. They are puking.
Same with ayahuasca.
And then 80% of you are going to have visions, 20% of you are not going to have visions. Like, you're going to be going through it, but you're not going to see things. And obviously, most of us were like, oh, well, we want to see something. That's what we're here for. So at midday, we eat lunch, and then we don't eat anything else after that because they want you to fast throughout the process. And I'm like, all right, if I'm getting IV, I'm not drinking water. I don't want to puke. One of my fucking things I hate throwing up. I hate puking. I hate that feeling, that helplessness feeling. Yeah. You're throwing up. So I was like, I'm making sure everything's out of my system. So I don't drink anything, don't eat anything. And at the end of the day, it's probably about 6, 7 o'clock, I believe. It's a 3-story building, and then we have a little fire pit that we do a little, what do you call it? It's like a little ritual that you kind of speak on your intentions. So we write down all of our intentions, what you want to get out of your journey, what you're looking for, what you want to get better at, what your reasoning is, whatever it is that you want. Yep. Mine, and I'll share, I don't care. I wanted to see my father because my father actually passed away. Oh, and I didn't get to say bye to him. So that's one thing that was killing me. Like, that's part of my anger. Yep. And even the reverse a second here. Trauma, we look at it as we have to be in shootings. We have to fucking see people die. People have this weird concept of, oh, well, I wasn't in war, so I don't have trauma. That is a bunch of horse shit. Trauma is trauma. Yeah. That's the best thing. I'll tell you where Cole actually told me that trauma is trauma. We all have been, or we are who we are based off something that happened a long time ago. The shit that happened to you, whatever we went through, has nothing to do with you got into some fight when you were in your 30s, 40s, whatever it is, in the street, and somebody, whatever happened. You know, it happened when you were a kid, somebody took a toy from you. And something went off the wrong way or the right way, whatever, and you became who you became because of that. It happened because people were abused, raped, whatever it may be. That your trauma is your trauma. I can't tell you it's any worse than what I saw. I can't tell you that's not trauma, but that is what trauma is. So that was part of it that I didn't fully get until
a lot of misconceptions. I had it myself. In fact, Jimmy Watson and I, he's a former SEAL, we're talking about PTSD. and the misconceptions about it. And I always thought that you had to see your brother or sister next to you get killed to form PTSD or suffer from. Mine was from being in the most devastatingly intimate moments of other people's lives over and over and over and over. Like when you referenced that suicide and the mom and dad being there.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many times I've been in situations like that. And I would say their life was before they met, not that they would ever remember my name, but their life was before they met Mike Morgan, and their life is after they met Mike Morgan. And there was a huge delineation between those two parts of their lives. Their lives are forever changed. And you're watching this, and your heart is breaking, but there's nothing you could do. Right. It's your job. You have to be there. You can't go anywhere. And, you know, just compound that over years of seeing it hundreds of times. Yep. That's what did it for me personally. Yeah.
And again, it's something that you got to figure out what it is. You know, I can't tell you what yours is. I can't tell you what people watching this, what your trauma is. Yep. A lot of times, majority of the time, you know what it is. You know, you've just locked it up somewhere, and I don't ever want to look at it again. And that's what I did. And I got to look at it face to face. So yeah, we do the burning ceremony. Like I said, one of the things I needed to see my father, needed to say goodbye. That was something I was holding on to. That was making me angry. Wanted to see my kids while I was going through whatever I was going to go through. I needed to know what my purpose was. Like, why was I there? You know, and then how could I help myself throughout this whole thing? So wrote it all down. You can throw it in a fire pit, kind of burn it away. And again, I'm kind of like 60, 75% on everything that's going on. I'm like, all right, I'll go through the process, whatever. I don't know what to expect. Boom. So medication-wise, it's in pill form, and then they give you, I'm not going to go through every step of it because I'm going to say things, guys, and it's going to make no sense to you. Legit, you're going to think absolutely crazy. Yeah. And you understand this part now, doing it yourself, but you talk to individuals who have never done something like this, they'll be like, you are out of your mind.
Oh, no doubt.
But when you do it, you're like, that happened. Yeah.
Prior to doing it, I would have heard the story and be like, what?
100%. So yeah, you take the meds, and then everybody's in the same room. You're hooked up to EKGs. You have doctors on staff, everything like that. So they'll watch. You're monitored 24/7 through this whole process. And it's kind of like there's a mirror set up in front of you, bed on the floor. There's tribal music playing. They give you. We had these maracas or these snake tail rattlers, and kind of try to bring you into the moment. So a couple people said, because a couple of guys there did it, this is their second time. And even guys that have done LSD and things like that, we had gotten to those conversations. They're like, yeah, sometimes you sit in the mirror and you can see yourself kind of melt away. I was like, all right, let me see if maybe that'll happen. So I take the meds, sit down, looking at the mirror, nothing's happening. I'm like, So then I remember them saying like, okay, when it starts kicking in, you're going to hear like static in your ear, like electricity. So, all right. Sitting there, it had to have been like an hour. I kind of lost track of times. They take all your electronics away too, so you don't do any sort of weird dialing to people. So I'm sitting there, and I thought it was like an hour. I'm like, nothing's happening here, man. I was like, did I waste my fucking time doing that?
Yeah, so it happened to me the first time too.
I'm probably immune to this shit. So you go into your head now. I'm like, I'm immune to this.
What a waste of time.
Yeah, this is a totally waste. Yeah, that was not the case. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to lay down. They give you a blindfold, and this is going to be relevant in a second here. You can't see through this blindfold. It's pitch black. Yep. It's dark in the room. The blindfold blackens everything out. I tried it several times before I laid down. So put it on, kind of lay down. There's tribal music playing. At this point, everybody's kind of laying down. One guy actually falls asleep and he's snoring. I'm in my head, I'm like, how the fuck are you sleeping right now? Out cold. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I kind of like doze off. When I doze off, I wake up to a guy to my left. There's two people to my left. And one dude is purging. He's throwing up. And I'm listening to him purge. And I'm like, fuck, that sounds bad. So now I'm listening to it, but I'm starting to get like sick in my stomach. And I'm like, at the same time, as I'm getting sick to my stomach, I kind of look down. Mind you, I'm blindfolded, and I could see this meter on my chest, like from green to red. And as I'm getting sicker, I could feel like the vomit coming up. I would breathe, like use the breath work, and would go down. I was like, all right, cool, just keep breathing. Mind you, I'm looking at a fucking meter on my chest. Yeah, and I don't really think about it that way. For some reason, it didn't click in my head, like, you have a meter on your chest. Like, what are you looking at? It's like, all right, I kind of pass back out. So then I pass back out, I wake up to both of them to my left are fucking throwing up, and they're fucking going at it hard. And I'm like, Jesus, I'm going to throw up, dude. I can't listen to this much longer. So, mind you, I could see them throwing up. I'm blindfolded. Still didn't put A and B together yet, but I could see them throwing up clear as day. And I'm like, let me grab this bucket just in case I got to puke. And I was like, you know what? Breathe, work through it. Again, see the meter, kind of pass out. I wake up again, and there was a song playing. It was do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I remember it vividly. As the song is going, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, my body is convulsing off the bed. to that fucking beat. Like like when I tell you, I thought I was gonna throw my back out as hard as I was bouncing off the bed. And I was like, what is going on right now? So I'm going, bup, 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 bup. At this point, I'm starting to get nervous. And I'm like, this is fucking crazy. What is happening? And I'm hearing full electricity blowing off my ear. So I'm like, whatever is happening, it's fucking happening now. Like, I'm in it.
It's going down.
So I'm hearing like, literally I could hear the electricity in my brain connecting. All the everything is just connecting in my brain. I could hear it. I'm bouncing off the bed. I'm getting nervous. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to fucking get hurt. And then I was like, you know what, work on your breathing. So then I started talking to myself. I was like, all right, working to breathe. And I breathe. I just kind of slow down a little bit. Then I start like freaking out a little bit. And then I start speeding up again. So that happens. I kind of pass out again. I wake up to me still kind of vibrating off the bed. And then all of a sudden it was like, it stopped. When it stopped, the only way I could explain it was like, it was shaking me. The medicine was shaking me to wake up. And I was awake. Wherever it needed me to be, I was awake and I was there.
Okay.
And it was almost like I felt like I was somewhere else. And they tell you too, a lot of times the Ibogaine, the Iboga tribe, that they're with you throughout this whole process. Like they're around you, protecting you. And again, I was like, yeah, bullshit, whatever. But throughout this whole process, I was laying there and it felt like a spider web was on my face. And something kept hitting me in the face. There's nothing around me. We're in a wide open room, clean room. And I remember at one point I like slapped my face. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I took the blindfold, I'm looking around, nothing. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Put a mask back on. But throughout the whole night, I kept feeling like a feather hitting my face.
Okay.
And I thought somebody was fucking with me. But nobody was there. So that makes sense later. I'll tell you why. I'm kind of there. So at this point, with Ibogaine, you think that you're locked in, but you're not. You could hop out of this trance, whatever you're in. At any point in time, you could kind of snap yourself out of it. You're going through it, but you could get out of this whole thing.
Yeah, you lose it at Sam.
So at that point, I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, I literally was like, I'm getting up and I'm leaving. Like, I'm good here. I bullshit you not. I went to go sit up. I'm not a weak individual, dude. I felt a hand hit me in the chest.
Really?
And as I'm like mid sit up, and I'm like, I can't fucking move. And literally, it hit me in the chest. It felt like a Mack truck slapped me. And like pushed me back down. Wasn't uncomfortable, didn't hurt. But it was like, I can't do nothing right now. It's just literally like laying me back down and literally talked to me. And I could see an outline of almost like, it was like an eagle's face and like a person. And that was the Ibogaine. That's what I resembled it as, was a human being or animal, whatever it was, crossbreed or whatever that was. And pushed me down. Was like, no, you need to do this. You're not going anywhere. And I wasn't nervous, wasn't freaking out. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm staying here.
Yeah, that's where I'm supposed to
and
be.
then at the same time, like I had my hands on my lap and my legs are straight out. And I felt like they put 2 straps on my leg and they put 10,000-pound weights on my arms. I couldn't budge. I was locked in.
It's amazing.
And then my tongue felt like it weighed like 10,000 pounds and my jaw's locked. And I couldn't talk. I was like, you need to listen, don't talk. Legit, this thing's telling me you need to listen, don't talk.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I guess I'm fucking hanging out here. I got nowhere else I could go. So laid down there. No point in time. Again, remember I told you it was like the safety feeling? I felt safe.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like at any point in time I was going to die. And I was just like, this is fucking crazy, but I guess I'm here now. So that happened. I kind of go back out and then I wake up and I'm staring at like this black, like just space. And then all of a sudden, like it kind of opened up. There's like a scene that opened up. So I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, I guess I am having a vision here. I'm going to see everything. So it opens up this big like black screen. And then I see like these little lights start sparking. And I see like a city line. And I remember I saw the Chrysler building. I vividly remember that because I was like, oh, that's definitely the Chrysler building right there. So I saw that and I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at right now? Then a couple more things popped up. And I remember some stuff and then some stuff I don't remember fully. But then all of a sudden it blacked out again. And then it opened up to like a screen. And the way I remember it is almost like, remember The Matrix?
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves. It kind of opens up and there's a bunch of file cabinets that come out.
Yep.
So I'm sitting there in that white space and a piece of paper gets thrown at me. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Another piece of paper. And another piece of paper. Then like 5 pieces. Then 10. Then like 100. Then it starts getting like to a point where like, it's just like getting overwhelmed. I got to start doing something here. So I'm able to take my hands and start like organizing it. I was like, I got to organize. Whatever they're throwing at me, I got to start organizing it. So I'm grabbing it, throwing, don't need that, don't need this, don't need that, need that, keep that there. And even to this day, and I was having this talk last week with I think it was Tony Cowden I was talking to about this. I remember there was a piece of paper that was thrown. I still cannot figure it. To this day, it's bothering the hell out of me. Like, I threw it away, and as I threw it, I was like, whoa, no, I need that. And I grabbed, I remember like, I could feel my body moving, like, get that, put that away, and I could not get a zone in on what it was.
So on these papers, are you able to read anything? Or it's just I have to keep this one,
I'm able to see it, like I'm scanning extremely fast.
Okay.
I'm scanning, yep, need that. And in my head, it was making sense to me what it was
Right.
on the paper, but I can't, at this point,
Articulate what it was,
articulate what it was. It was like some pictures of things, some like, it was even like movies, like it's kind of like going through your iPhone and like, okay, delete that, delete. So I was able to do that. And later on down the road, what it was me going through all that shit that's jumbled up back there. And like, all right, let's start sifting through all the shit you don't need, start creating space for some healthy thoughts here. So did all that, get through all that. It even got to a point where it was like, it was extremely overwhelming. I was like, this is getting kind of crazy right now. Do that, and then like it kind of blacks out again. So I'm sitting there waiting. And another thing I asked for when I did burn the paper was patience. I was like, I need patience. So I'm sitting there as it blacked out. I'm getting frustrated. I can feel myself like, let's go. Like, let's get this over with, because what I'm thinking is going to happen next is just every bad thing that I've seen, let's put it on the fucking board and let's just start looking at the shit.
Okay.
I'm talking about gruesome shit, everything I've ever felt terribly about, done bad shit, whatever it may be. And I'm like, let's just get this ride started. So I'm starting to get irritated. I could feel myself getting irritated.
Really?
And as soon as I started getting irritated, like a movie screen would pop up and the word patience would pop up. Hard stop on everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Patience. And I have to sit there and stare at it. When I'd calm down, it'd go away. And then things would start moving again. And it happened several times throughout this whole thing. There'd be times I'd get frustrated and the word patience would pop up. And I'd have to stop, calm down, and then it would start going again. So that happened, it disappears. And then it's almost like the old school like cinemas pop up in front of me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then you could see the little Ibogaine person, my tour guide is what I would say through his whole medicine journey, is there. And they're like, okay. And curtains are about to open up. And I'm like, let's do it. You know, this is going to be it.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting to see the worst of the worst. It opens up, and I'm sure you've been to Disney World.
Tax.
In Disney World, you get that ride, It's a Small World After All.
Yeah.
Fucking screen opens up, and it's a Small World After All ride. I remember sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I can remember that ride specifically, man. Those little cars that goes up.
It was legitimately me getting onto it. I'm like, what is this? They're like, let's get on. Let's go take a ride and take a look at your life. It gave me completely the opposite of what I was expecting to go through. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, all right, let's go, I guess. And literally went on a ride throughout my life. Started from the beginning. And I literally, from the youngest days of anything I could remember, throughout to the point where I was at, and went through the whole thing. So throughout the whole process, I was given a couple of pieces of it. Like I said, there were certain things that I needed. Wanted to see my kids, got to see my kids. As we're going through, was able to hold my kids' hands, work through some things with them. And then I remember thinking to myself too, like, there was times in my life where, like, I was happy, you know? We have happiness, like, you know, that was cool, high five, happy moment. But never had that real happiness. Like, when my kids were born, I was happy, you know, but it never had like what you see in the movies and what you see other people like super ecstatic about. I've won championships in college football. I've achieved some pretty damn good things in life. And I never had that moment. It was almost like, all right, it happened. All right, let's get on to the next thing. And I could never figure out why I could not get that feeling. And that was another problem I was having. I was like, dude, I can't be happy with things. You know, even in relationships, like when I really look back at it now, it's like, dude, like you just just kept moving on and on because of things like this, you know? Always needed the next thing to happen. And even with the cars, like we were talking about. Okay, so I was like, oh, got one car, let's get another one. All right, let's get a motorcycle, let's do this. So I remember getting to play with my kids, walk with my kids, and when I saw my boys, and I remember I was crying because I felt myself crying. Even now, I feel myself getting worked up. And I remember saying out loud too, like, I am so fucking happy right now. So happy. And later on, after I got through this whole thing, the guy laid next to me was like, bro, you were fucking like screaming and dancing.
Really?
And like singing out loud. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you were fucking happy as shit.
That's nuts.
Like, literally singing. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. It must have been when I was with my kids. So I got to do that. And I remember just being ecstatic.
Now, excuse me 1 second. When you look back now and you say that you never really had that happiness, is it because, and I've experienced this myself, I somehow have my emotions so tightly wrapped that I don't allow myself to become that. Like my wife will say something, I'm excited, but I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
You know, and even I question myself, like, why don't you just say like, that's awesome, baby? Like,
yeah, I think
do you get that?
I get it. And I think now that I'm starting to tap into emotional intelligence and figuring out, because a lot of times what happens when you get happy, you get emotional, you start crying and stuff like that. Like you see your kids do something fucking great.
Yeah.
And you're like, fucking proud dad moment. And you're like, like you're getting me right now, you know? I think it was because there was that tide point of like you're about to get emotional and it'd be like, no, stop
Can't
it right
get
there.
emotional.
Can't get
Yep,
emotional.
you're a
Stop
man.
it right here, right now. That's not going to happen.
Yep.
I think I wasn't allowing myself to do it.
Yeah, I believe the same way.
100%. I think that's what it was. Because then you tie it into that and you kind of let yourself go, and then
Yep.
that's just sense of pussy for doing it,
Yeah.
which is not the case.
No, not at all. I don't think I've cried more in my life than the last 13 months since I've
Yeah.
had this, I was reborn in a non-religious
Oh,
sense.
crazy. So I'll fast forward because this thing, you're literally in this for like 9.5, 10 hours. You're
Yep.
going through it. So fast forward a couple things. Another part was my dad. As we're going through this whole thing, there's like these movie screens that are going through. So I'm going through my life in movie screens, seeing things, seeing people, working through things, forgiving people, like legitimately, like I forgive you type scenarios and kind of letting it go. So I remember there was a blue screen that popped up. And for some reason, I kept staring at the top left corner of this screen. I couldn't get my eyes off it. So I'm watching it, and I'm watching it go, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And you know when you could see your peripheral vision, without even looking, you could tell, like, who I could sit here and be like, oh, this Mike's sitting next to me. I was looking at that corner of the screen. I could see two people walking up into my peripheral. I'm like, who the fuck is that? And I was like, I know who that is. And I was like, that's my dad. So as I'm saying this, the screen's going away. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. It's like, there's no way I'm missing this.
Yeah.
So the screen's going. I remember I grabbed the screen and I'm pulling this fucking thing back. I'm like, no fucking way that I went through this and I'm going to miss this opportunity. So I'm grabbing it and I'm pulling and I'm fucking fighting this thing back. It's almost like the medicine knew I needed it and it let me fight the screen back, pulled it back. So in short, I was able to talk to my dad, say goodbye. Saw my grandfather, his dad too. Got to say goodbye.
Anyone speak to you, or you were just speaking to them?
Speaking to them, like the way we're talking.
Oh, really? Okay.
We were
no one's ever spoken back
engaged,
to me, but I've
engaged, talking, and got to say that goodbye and got to like watch him go about his way. You know,
that's incredible.
And even then, like I was like, dude, I'm happy. I said it out loud. I remember saying, I'm fucking good. I'm happy now. You know, so I got to do that part of it, let that go, and I could feel like it. As this has happened, I could kind of feel the weights just coming off. And able to feel happiness, and not really like we do as human beings, like put death as a bad thing. We put this bad label on death when we should be celebrating it, you know. So that was a big part of it too.
Now, how do you perceive death now?
It's more of a celebration, man. Honestly, you know, like celebrate the time we're here. You know, it's inevitable.
Yep.
You're born, you're gonna die.
No one's getting out alive.
No way you're dodging it. You
Exactly.
know? Nobody's that good, so we're all going there. You know, so celebrate the good times, the lessons learned, and, you know, have conversations. Do things like this more.
Yeah.
You know, go out there and do what you can in a small period of time that we do have here. You know, we think we're going to be here forever and we're immortal.
No, it's like this,
you're
blink of an eye. And I think it's
around.
an energy transference. I don't think,
Yeah.
I think we're elsewhere. We're still in this universe.
Oh, yeah.
We're just elsewhere.
I think we get little pieces of it because this is what this medicine does. It unlocks parts of our brain that we're not able to touch because you see it. There's a lot of times how many people sit there and say, like, that's like my spirit animal.
Yep.
That kid is, my kid is the spitting image of me. Or let's like my father would have done something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, there's a reason. I think part of that's sitting right there, you know?
Exactly.
So yeah, went through that part, kind of fast forward through some other things, got to the end, and then got to the part where I was like, all right, what's my purpose here? You know, what am I doing here? And big sign comes up, like when the word patience came out and the word gentle popped up. Like, what? Kind of sitting there like trying to run through it, like, gentle, what the fuck are you talking about? So then just said, be gentle. Be gentle to yourself. Be gentle to others. I was like, okay. I'll think on that one a little bit. And then I started thinking about it. I hate giving her props on this one because Max, my kid's mom, she used to always say, like, you're being too Barbosa. Like, being like a, not Barbosa, I forgot the Spanish term, being barbaric. You know, like you're walking around too hard, you're like just being too much of a man.
Yeah.
You know? Like you move too hard, you speak too hard, you know.
It's so funny. My wife says that to me. You look like you want to kill someone.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
fine.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Why do you look mad?
Yeah, I
I'm not
have rest
mad.
bitch face.
Yeah.
That's a definitive.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, you know what? that makes sense. I was like, fuck. Like, the irony of that shit is that she's in this now too. I was like, fuck, man.
And she's right.
Yeah, damn it. I got to say this out loud. So, yeah, man, it was just be gentle. Be a kid. Like, we forget what we used to be like when we're happy. Like, when you see your kids play, like, they have no care in the world. They're not concerned about things. Like, we grow up and we take shit too seriously, man, you know? And we forget how to be human beings, be humanized,
100%.
have fun, smile, do things, be happy. Like, exactly everything that I'm telling you that I went through there. We forget how to do all that.
Yep.
You know? And it's a blessing to have kids too. I mean, hopefully everybody watching this has that blessing. If you don't, I mean, I apologize for saying anything out of line here for you, but just like taking that time where I sit back, I do it all the time. I'll sit back and just stare at my kids and just watch them. Be like, how are you so fucking happy right now? Like, I wish I could be like that all the time, you know? But just enjoying those moments and just be happy with them, you know? And
exactly.
At this point now too, like, I dive into it. Like, they're doing something crazy that I'd be like, normally like, stop doing them. Fuck it, let's go.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. I say life's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be some viscerally painful stuff we go through, but for the most part, most of us live great lives, and there is so much beauty. We're surrounded by it.
Yeah.
Just you have to learn to appreciate every little thing, man. My wife and I were at the beach just today, and I was sitting there looking. I'm like, man, I love my wife to death. Yeah. I'm here at this beautiful beach, just watching nature. Hawk goes by. I'm like, this is just
don't
beautiful.
Overcomplicate it. We overcomplicate things. Like, sit at the beach, enjoy it.
Exactly.
Don't have to sit there and think about anything else.
No.
Just enjoy it.
No. Money was never my thing. I was never a guy that had to chase money. To me, all it brings you is independence and freedom. Short of that, it's never going to bring you happiness. So if you're not happy, for those who are watching, money's not bringing it to you. Yeah. You know, and I used to live with multi-millionaires. I had a garden house apartment. I was Cato Caitlin in Atlanta. Yeah. And they were great people. I loved them to death. But they had friends. And when I say wealthy, I'm talking about one guy just bought a 767, was getting retrofitted. The most miserable human I've ever met. Oh, yeah. Means nothing if you're not happy inside.
It really doesn't, man. So I'll fast forward through the middle part because there's a couple other things that happened throughout that journey. And if you guys do, which I definitely advise that you go look into it, I think everybody should do this. You'll know what I'm talking about. It happens in between this next step. And so last day that you were there, we do the 5-MeO, DMT. And anybody who knows who doesn't know what that is, basically called the God's particle. It's off of the, was it Amazonian toad? The poison?
Yeah, bufo toad.
Yeah, bufo toad, yeah. It's ironically, you look like a freaking crackhead smoking.
Exactly. When I was doing it, I'm like, it's a meth pipe, man.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I'm not smoking a fancy meth pipe is what I'm doing. So yeah, you smoke it. And they tell you, it's one of two things. You're going to have complete euphoria or it's going to be a fucking bad day.
Yeah, mine was a bad day.
Mine was a bad day. It was the hardest thing I've ever dealt with or done in my life, man. It was bad. I've never had an anxiety attack, a panic attack. I had an anxiety attack and a panic attack simultaneously. Wow. It was fucking bad. So you smoke it. They kind of tell you the way it is. You blindfold. You're in a room by yourself. You have the nurse and staff around you. So I had this one guy, Jose was in there with me, a bigger Spanish guy. And I'm like, why the fuck's he in here? And then the two nurses, I'm like, what the fuck's going to happen with this? Like, why is so many people in here? Found out later why. Exactly. So kind of lay there. And one lady, I'll give her name Ruby, fucking best nurse ever, man. Ruby, shout out to you. And the other nursing staff too, great people. Ruby, man, she's one of the stepping stones out there that definitely helps you through the whole thing. Administers the medicine. They have you do a couple steps and literally, as soon as that hits your system, you're in it. There's no pause or wait in between. You're automatically in it. So mine was kind of like, again, I say the Matrix is the best way I could depict it. Everything turns white, almost like the lights in this room. And meters. I see 2 meters again. And I'm like, fuck, me and these meters, dude. And I remember at this point, I was like, oh, this is what the DJ was talking about, the ego death part. You got to kill your ego to allow this to open you up. So I'm sitting there. And the only time we release DMT in major dumps is when you're born and when you die. That's why a lot of people, when they do die, they have to come to God moment. They're like, okay, everything's beautiful. I'm seeing this. That's when you have a major DMT dump. And this is basically what it is. So I see the white lights, and then I have these 2 meters from, again, green to red. As I get into this room, I let out a fucking yell. And only way I could explain it, it's like if you ever watch like the Incredible Hulk movies, it sounded like the Hulk yelling, and I had this purple and green shit coming out of my mouth.
Really?
It was like purple and green energy. It wasn't like it was purple and green energy coming out of me. And I could not fight it. Like I was trying to stop yelling. I couldn't do it. It just was making it worse.
Yep.
And I would fight it and it would let it go again. As I'm doing this, the meter would come down. So as I'm yelling, letting all the oxygen out of my lungs, it would go down to about red. And then it would get to red. And then all of a sudden I'd fight it and it would happen again. And I'd yell again. And I could not stop yelling. And I'm letting these yells out. And it was just like, it wasn't hurting, but it was like pain. It was pain as if like somebody, like heartbreak pain. Like somebody died and I just watched my father die again. So I'm yelling. I counted like 7 or 8 times I did it. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm blindfolded, but I'm watching this shit coming out of me. So eventually, like the 7th or 8th time, I'm realizing what's happening. I'm like, okay, this is what they were talking about. You got to kill yourself. This is the fucking time we got to let the ego go. And what it was, my ego was fighting myself. And every time I'd get to the point where I'm about to go, I'd fight it. And I'm like, nope, I'm not going. And then I kept doing it and then kept doing it. And then I was like, you know what? All right, let me fucking just kill myself right now. So I was trying to suffocate myself by letting all the air out of my lungs now. But every time I'd yell, I didn't even get to the point where I was like getting that death fucking like going. And I could hear myself going. And then I'd get there, I'm like, nope, doing it again, fighting it again. And I was like, at this point now I'm getting frustrated with myself. I'm like, just fucking die already. So when I said that to myself, I looked to my right and there's a gun. And I swear to God, it was a fucking handgun. So I'm like, all right, you have to shoot yourself in the head. So I went, picked up the gun, and I went to go put it to my head. And I swear to you, I thought it was gonna rip my bicep off.
Really?
I was fighting myself from bringing the gun up and fighting just to get it away from my head. So I'm fighting again. My ego is fucking fighting me down, and I'm trying to pull it up, and I'm having a fucking battle here. So eventually I'm sitting there, I'm getting closer and closer, and then I hear DJ in the back of my head. He goes, stop being a pussy and fucking do it already. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you. I literally said it. I was like, fuck you. Put the gun to my head, pull the trigger, boom. Snap out of that scene, and I go into this tunnel. It's just like this long tunnel, black and white strobe lights are going, and that's when I got into the fucking anxiety mode. I remember I got into this tunnel, and I've never been so fucking scared in my life, dude. Like, you could have had a gun to my head, and I'd have been like, this is not that bad. This was fucking worse than having a gun to my head. Whatever reason, I was looking down that tunnel, and I'm like, I want nothing to do with this. And literally, as I'm in there, I remember kind of snapping out, because you're able to communicate with everybody out there, the nursing staff and everything, for everybody that's listening. And I say it out loud. I was like, get me the fuck out of here. And I remember them saying like, no, like you're in it. You can't fucking just walk out of this, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, you need to work on your breathing. And I'm fucking like, I'm in full-fledged dumping sweat. I'm fucking panic mode. I'm like, guys, I need to get the fuck out of here. I can't be in here right now. And they're like, thank God for this staff, man. That's why I say, Ruben, you guys shout out. They end up talking me down a little bit because I'm to the point where I could feel myself like, I'm going to fucking lose it here and I'm just going to go fucking crazy. So I'm trying to fight my way up. They're like fighting me back down.
That's great. And now we know why Jose's in the room.
Yeah, Jose's in the room for that. And one other thing is going to happen here in a second. So as I'm walking, because I'm like moving down this tunnel and I'm getting closer and closer to the end where this light is. And I could feel myself and I'm like, I want nothing to do with this shit. I don't want to see what's down there. I don't want to talk to it. I don't want to touch it. I'm getting closer. I'm freaking out. I'm fucking working on my breathing. I calm down, but then I see I'm getting closer and I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, I want out of here now.
Yeah.
So end up going through it, working through it, breathing through the whole thing. I get to the end of it and then medicine's done. You're out. Like, so when you do the DMT, guys, like you're in it fast, but when it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a taser. It's literally like a taser.
Good example.
So I got out and Mike, man, when I tell you, I felt every emotion that I've ever compartmentalized and locked away fucking just dumped out of me. Like anything that I've ever fucking hidden, locked away from myself, it literally, both doors open and I started crying. Dude, I was crying for like 15 minutes. I couldn't stop crying. I was dumping fucking tears, snot bubbles, all the above, man. And as soon as that started happening, I was laid there blindfolded. I was like, I don't know who's in this fucking room right now. I was like, but somebody better come give me a hug. And so there was like a dog pile on me.
That's great.
And I remember I say this, and I say this in the best of way, guys, when I say this. There's this little gay nurse. So he's fucking ironically the first one to hug me. So, so I'm hugging him. And I remember just like squeezing him, dude. And I'm like squeezing him. I'm like, I'm getting fucking close to breaking this dude's ribs. And I was like, all right, I think I need Jose in here now. He's like, move. This is what I'm here for. And Jose's a bigger dude. And Jose is like, man, you squeeze me as tight as you need to. I remember just fucking squeezing him and just letting it all out, man, and crying. And then they just like dog piled on me. And it was by far the best feeling ever. Like we talk about the feeling of adrenaline being the best drug that we ever hunted down. And I agreed for a minute. Adrenaline was by far the thing I was hunting was the
Yeah.
best feeling I had. That's bullshit. The feeling that I had of love at that point in time was the best feeling I ever had in my life. Like, I came out of that and I was 180 degrees of a person. Like, I felt reborn. You could have kicked my dogs down the stairs in front of me at that point in time. I'd be like, yep, whatever. Good job.
I don't know if I go that far because I love dogs more than anything. But short of that, that's exactly how I felt. Like I was reborn. There was so much empathy in my heart.
Just
it was
love,
unbelievable,
man. It was insane how much love I felt. Like, I can't explain the feeling that came out of that.
Yep.
Like, I could tell people you felt it was beyond anything that I've ever felt in my life. Like, everything you're seeing now at this point, when I took that, everything was in fucking like 10K. Like, I'm looking at lights differently. Like, people look, like, you just look better.
Yeah.
Sounds hurt. Like, I heard things better. It felt better. Walking around felt better. I couldn't hug people enough. You know?
Oh, yeah.
I went there. They got pissed off at us because eventually, after we all did it, we're all walking around Tijuana. We didn't tell them we left. So we're
really?
just walking around hanging out in Tijuana. Because you're like on cloud.
Yeah, we don't want the clients getting kidnapped.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, man, it was, if everybody in the world did this simultaneously, fucking solves every problem.
I truly believe that's why government doesn't want it in the hands of the people.
Oh, no.
How you coming up with warriors when everyone's got this love in their heart?
Yeah.
And if you want to end the war, get Putin and Zelensky, ayahuasca, ibogaine treatments.
Give them a little 5 million and they'll be hugging and doing everything else, handshakes and everything, man. But it was
100%.
I never felt so good in my life after that. I literally can't explain how good I felt.
Yep.
And even to this day, like the residual effects of everything, what I call coincidences before, like every doubt that I had, and even if it was 1% doubt, gone. Like, this stuff is amazing what it does.
So as you're, explaining to guys and girls who watch this right now, how have you changed from that day forth as a man?
As a man, I mean, there are so many scenarios now that I've been placed in a couple bad ones that before you're going to get a reaction.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a thought process. It's just going to be a reaction. Now it's legitimately, I don't argue with dumb people anymore, is what I'll call it. So I think it was Keanu Reeves said it. If they say 5 + 5 is 11, it's 11. What are you going to argue with them for? What are you losing your fucking breath of time for, getting angry about something?
Exactly.
For what reason? Like, we sit here and we get angry about things for what reason? This guy cut me off. Okay, it happened. What are you going to do now? You're going to get pissed off and go cause something else to happen, Just stupid arguments, man. Like I said, we make things so overcomplicated, and I'm guilty of it in many ways, And then you look back and it's like, that wasn't worth that energy whatsoever. There was literally nothing there.
Yep.
In relationships, we do it. We start arguing about things, and then, like, what the hell are we arguing about? Was it really that fucking serious? Was somebody going to die?
99% of the time, it's the most trivial thing.
Oh, yeah. And
it means nothing.
It doesn't, man. Just like, even with my kids, man, just like I said before, just enjoying the times, being a kid, enjoying the little things, the conversations, not controlling the controllables, an aspect of it. And then just the community that this whole thing has brought. Like I said, even us sitting here talking, man, the people that I've met that I've never thought that I'd be sitting across from,
exactly,
befriending, having conversations about,
and the conversations that you're having with these hardened men.
Oh yeah.
Now it's just like two dudes talking. It's not like it's two warriors that are, kind of showing their alpha sides to each other. Yeah. Like, the walls are taken down. That's one of the biggest things. I think Dio Vaughn said it, that ayahuasca and maybe ibogaine gives you the keys to unlock the doors of the rooms in which you've been trapped.
Yes.
Or the walls, they just get taken down.
Yes.
And you see things you never saw before. You see things that you've seen from a totally different perspective.
Yes.
And you realize what's important and what's not.
Right.
And it's huge in our lives.
And it gives us the ability to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. We don't want to be vulnerable.
Nope.
I don't want to be vulnerable.
No.
Well, before I didn't want to be.
I couldn't be.
Cry,
to be honest with you.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely couldn't be. Like I said, I'd feel it coming and I'd get angry. Let me go find something to get angry about, And I mean, I didn't do drugs. I didn't drink. I mean, again, like I said, I definitely did some womanizing aspects of things. That was kind of where I went with it. But like all that, you have a different purpose. Even to the point where there's certain people I had to apologize about some things,
Yeah.
You got to get back and like, I see what happened here,
Exactly.
It was one of those, it wasn't you, it was definitely me, Are there more things, work to do? Yeah. Are you going to be perfect after it? No.
We're never going to be. We're
never
imperfect beings.
There's definitely work to do after. So it's not a one-all fix type of scenario, but there are several individuals that have done this that will give you stories of alcoholism gone,
Oh yeah.
dip, gone.
Yeah,
you know?
instantaneously.
Like don't want to taste it.
Yep.
You know, TBI, amazing work. Even
Yeah.
the Stanford study they've done with the Ibogaine, amazing stuff they've done.
Yeah, Parkinson's now, they're showing that. My cousin's husband's actually got it. And, I approached him with the information. His doctor kind of shut it down immediately. I might find another doctor.
Yeah.
These guys, number one, are in the pockets of Big Pharma. Number two, a lot of them don't know.
Yeah.
And listen, if I'm a doctor and someone's experiencing such a debilitating quality of life issue such as Parkinson's, but I hear that potentially there's a healing medicine out there, if I'm not going to investigate it, then turn them on to someone that will.
Yeah.
Don't just shut them down.
Yeah. And again, this is not just for your war fighters, for your first responders. This is not. Even like I said, last week we were out there, we were doing a little mini documentary filming over at Ambio. And one of the young ladies there, nothing to do with war, wasn't in the army, wasn't a cop. She was a mom who owns a business with her husband. And she slipped and fell down the stairs, hit her head. And freaking had a brain bleed, a bunch of stuff happened, caused her her story's pretty crazy. She should not be here for what she told us. And the damage that happened to her brain made her literally turn into somebody else. Like she was saying that she brought home some stuff to her husband that he should have been long gone. But the stuff that she was like, she literally thought things were happening that weren't happening. She went and did the treatment and she said that it was 180 degrees, fixed what she had going on.
It's amazing.
It's absolutely nuts and amazing. And people would sit there and be like, you guys are crazy. Like this is, I would say
that's what I was saying prior to.
Yeah,
like there's no way.
Yeah, I would say if it was one or two people that was the case, if there wasn't a study that showed it, but as small as this is, there are more than enough people out there that have done it that can attest to the fact that this stuff works, man.
Yeah, I agree.
It definitely works. And it's something that I feel strongly about, hence why I'm here. And like you talked about before, you told me to do this 18 months ago. I'm like, dude, I don't do camera work. I'm not sitting here talking about this stuff. I'm not open up being vulnerable about my problems, But we have to share this stuff. We have to help each other out, man, because we see suicide running up.
It's an epidemic.
It's nuts. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's trying to stop that.
No.
But
not at all. And we were talking about it before. Like, there's a stigma when you and I, from a lot of people, if we tell them what had actually healed us and how our healing journey occurred. But if we were to tell them that we were on 9 medications at some point, no one's going to look at us crazy. That's fine.
Yeah.
But there's a stigma when you're talking about plant-based medicines.
Right.
There's no manufacturing process in here in these things whatsoever. They've been around for thousands of years, but there's a stigma to that. We're ass backwards on this.
100%, man. And it makes you more open-minded about things that you're closed-minded to. Because I was 100% closed-minded.
Me too.
A lot of this stuff. When I told my friends about this stuff, dude, they're like, you did what?
Yep.
Like, you went from doing nothing to going right
I'm
into
like
this?
fervent anti-drug my entire life. And I told my buddies, and they're like, Morgs, there's no way.
Yeah.
I'm like, brother, for me to be talking about this, I've used psilocybin a few times. Unbelievable. And guys, my buddy's like, you're doing shrooms?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not for the euphoric thing. I'm going deep, and very introspective. And, I want to examine my behaviors, the origination, if I want to change things. Like it takes you to, I don't know, a different universe, so to speak, another dimension. But
and even to go
a miracle.
That, man, it's you.
Yeah,
you think
everything's inside us.
Exactly. You think you're going some special. No, everything that this medicine brings you to, it's you.
Exactly.
You're going inside of yourself.
Yeah,
like
it allows you a different perspective, but everything is inside of us.
Exactly.
And as strong as that voice is that puts you in a negative cycle, that same voice and that same mind can put you in a positive cycle.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. I can't talk about it enough. I told them, like when I left there, I'm a walking billboard.
Yeah, me too.
I'll sit there and talk about this shit
Me too.
all day.
Yep.
I can't talk to enough people. That's why when I had the opportunity to come sit on here with you, and this is actually my first time talking about it on a podcast, so I'm glad we actually did this.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic having it. This is why I created it.
Yeah, man,
and I want to bring this to the masses. I will, for the rest of my life, be a proponent of this medicine. It was actually, the universe told me after my first experience as I'm coming out of it, your life's purpose now is to help other veterans and first responders help heal their PTSD and traumas. And I literally said, okay, accepted it.
And I love the fact that this community, man, we're coming together, and it's no matter what your background is, from where you came, whatever you did, man, it's something that everybody's on the same page, and we can have these conversations, which is great.
Absolutely.
That's what I love about it, So
Yeah, I want to thank you again for coming on. It's
Yeah, of
fantastic
course,
speaking to you.
brother. Yeah.
If anyone wants to get in touch with you for further information, just tell them how to do so. All the links will be in the bio.
Yeah, we'll throw the links in the bio. You get on my Instagram, we'll throw that on the bio _ Tack Daddy. You guys can reach out to me, ask me any questions you guys want. I'm open book when it comes to that aspect of stuff. I do a little firearms work and stuff too, so we can always talk about that. Go do some shooting.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's me.
All right, fantastic. Guys, thank you again for watching. I hope you got something out of it. I know I did. And I as you hear both of us speak, it's just life-altering stuff. So please do not take it lightly. And if it's something that you feel is calling to you, reach out to either of us, research it, but it will change your life, I promise you. So if you like what you saw, please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next episode, guys.